G'day guys, and welcome back to the Boundary Riders podcast. Now we're up to G'day guys, and welcome back to the Boundary Riders podcast. Now we're up to episode 13, just completed round 10, and a lot of upsets happened throughout this weekend. We saw Geelong get beaten down in Geelong by the Giants. We saw
The Saints choke.
the Saints choke against Hawthorn. Even the Swans beating the Blues was, I think, a bit of an upset for a lot of people. But we missed you last week, so how did you think the round went?
Yeah, I feel like, I think it was a unpredictable week, really. But it was good to see the Sir Doug Nichols round. The entire rounds were both pretty powerful, in my opinion.
Both entertaining,
Yeah, and a lot of Indigenous players
stood up in those rounds.
They did. And
Yeah, we saw a goal of the year contender from Isaac Rankin. Keziah Pickett as well kicked the goal the week before that.
Here we go, guys. So the game is about to start right now. Port Adelaide versus the Western Bulldogs. Big game for both clubs. Out of the ruck, Lysette gets the little tap down, but comes through Liberatore, fumbles it though to Rosie, who turns around, snaps across, hits forward 50. Great play from McEntee, takes the mark. Burn-Jones goes in short. Dropped there by Josh Bruce, who's back in the team today. Pal Pepper off to Dixon to start Friday night perfectly for Port Adelaide. Charlie Dixon back in the team, kicks the first goal. Great start by the Power. Great start from Port Adelaide. They get the first goal. And within about 20 seconds, they take the lead against the Bulldogs, who desperately need a win tonight, losing their previous two games. Holding currently 7th spot on the ladder, but they've got a lot of teams on their hammer at the moment. They've got the Geelong, the Crows, Fremantle, even the Gold Coast Suns, only one win behind them. And with the Bulldogs' percentage at the moment only being 103, they're definitely teetering on the 8. Great start there from Charlie Dixon. Great finish. Great start from Port Adelaide. Looks like Liberatore's gone to Butters to start tonight. In the ruck, Lysette knocks it out the back. Liberatore gets taken well there by Butters. There'll be a ball up. A little bit of a fracas going on early. A lot of players going into Butters at the moment. Umpire lobs it up again. Still in the middle of the ground. Lysette gets it down to Drew. Drew gets almost slung out of it from Bontempelli. English fumbles the ball onto the ground there. Kicked away there from Treloar. Out to Bontempelli. They get it in the clear now, the Dogs. Williams gets it smothered well there by Houston. It rebounds back to Williams though. And they've got a bit of space in the middle of the ground. Dale, low kick. Wasn't very good. And great mark there from Drew. Cuts it off at half back. So Willem Drew has the ball. Had a pretty weird start to the season, Willem Drew. Been on and off at times. So now he goes long. Burn-Jones bodies out Vandermeer, who's in tonight. But now they get it out through Scott to Vandermeer. He's playing off half-back tonight. Gives it over the top to Lob. He kicks it towards half-forward. Great kick, finds Waitman. He went to go, but didn't have any options, Waitman. Takes it about half-forward. He has an option now in the pocket. Goes to Norton in a one-on-one. Great mark. Had the mismatch against Kane Farrell. And takes a good mark, Aaron Norton. So here's the Dogs for a quick reply. Aaron Norton in the pocket. He had Kane Farrell as his opponent there. Definitely a huge mismatch. And a chance if the Dogs kick there first. Aaron Norton comes in. Snaps towards goal. It's a bit skinny, but it looks good. Good finish from Aaron Norton. Both teams on the board. Good goal there from Norton. Good start for the Dogs as well. Both teams on the board now. So just a reminder for everyone, the subs are Oscar Baker for the Dogs, who actually got dropped this week, which is a bit surprising, and Riley Bonnet is the sub for Port Adelaide. So back in the ruck, Treloar gets the football, nearly gets the clearance. Good tackle from Rosie. They get it through the front now, Port. Drew, a little bit ill-directed that handball, and now the Dogs can go through the other way. Vandermeer looking for the 1-2, didn't get it from Treloar. Treloar works it out wide to Williams. It was a loopy handball. Williams made it look okay. Back to Treloar. The Treloar kick was poor. Cut off easily there by Rosie. Williams wanted it more, though, on the ground. He gets it off to Vandermeer. Now Bontempelli, usually quality going inside the forward 52, a one-on-one. Great spoil from behind there from Bergman. Ugelhagen picks it up, gets tackled well. Gets out the handball to lob. Waitman in the pocket. Chancey for the Dogs to get their second. Cody Waitman nails it. He's got another, and the Dogs take the lead. Left way too much space there for Cody Waitman. They just seem to get the overlap there, the Dogs. They look good early. They look sharp. They look on. They look like they want to break their two-game drought of wins. Who do I think will win? I think Port Adelaide, because of they've been in good form, but I think if the Dogs can get it, if they can get some quality inside 50s tonight, I think they have a real chance. Because I think Port Adelaide can struggle against the teams with the tall forwards. So I do give the Dogs a chance, but I think Port Adelaide, in the form that they're in, I think they'll win this one. And they've got a good record at Marvel Stadium too. So umpire balances it down, but it's a poor bounce. It'll be recalled. So it looks like they're going right for Butters tonight, the Dogs. Putting a lot of body onto him early. Lycett with a knockdown. He started okay, but it's out to Liberatore. Gets a good clearance long towards the forward 50. Bergman takes the front spot and then grabs it on the ground. Does well. McRae puts on a little bit of pressure. Drew picks it up, then fumbles it. Bontempelli couldn't bring it with him though. Boak with a new haircut gives it back to Houston. Now Port Adelaide can go through the middle of the ground. The Houston kick towards Butters. Has some space. Good tackle from Vandermeer. Butters gets back onto it though. Now they can get out the back here, the power. Rioli comes off the side of the boot. Bruce drops the mark though. Drags it in. He's going to be in trouble here. Dixon sits on top of him. And he's gone. Dragged it in there, Josh Bruce. Just came into the team this week. And that was pretty poor from Bruce. He probably should have marked it. It was a pretty hard mark. But then he dragged it straight back in. Always going to be pinned. And a chance here for Dixon to kick his second. Do I stream all games? No, I stream about 2 a week, probably. I'll probably stream the King's birthday game on Monday. Maybe one of the Sunday games as well. So chance here for Charlie Dixon to kick his second. He kicked one. Came back after a month off. Dixon comes in pretty much straight in front. Can struggle with these ones at times. It holds that right goalpost. Fades back enough. And Dixon's got 2 for Port. So Josh Bruce started off a little bit tentative early in this one. Been out of the team for quite a while. He's in tonight and gave away a free kick there, and he's already got 2 conceded on him. So a little bit of a scoring fest early in this one. Only under 4 minutes of game time actually played. We've already seen 4 goals. Huge contrast to last night. The Swans St Kilda game was dismal for a lot of it. Only 1 goal in the first quarter. The disposals were terrible. This game's up and down. It's very exciting at the moment. Back in the middle. Lycett again wins it out of the ruck. Juan Francis can't gather it. Goes to Bailey Smith. Trickles out to Liberatore now. He kicks it inside the forward 50. Going back with the flight was Williams. Couldn't gather it. Good take from Aaliyah. Just kicks it up and under ball. Great mark from Rosie. Had Bontempelli on his hammer, but a great mark from Rosie in the air. So now Port look to switch it. Bergman in the back 50 at the moment. Play it on. Didn't really look like it. The umpire called him on. So Bergman wants to bring it out to the commentary side wing. Great mark from Ollie Wines on the wing, and he goes immediately. Puts it on the front of Houston. He wheels around on the right boot. Kicks it in short. Great cut off from Keith. He plays on immediately. This game's been quick so far. Finds Williams. He had a few touches early. Goes in short inboard. Good kick to Bontempelli. Been in great form. Brownlow medal form. He gives it off to Dale. The Dogs want to go. He goes to Waitman, but he goes too far over his head. Elia cuts it off. Very quick game of footy at the moment. So now Farrell works it out wide to Pal Pepper. Tries to put the step on O'Donnell. Does nicely in the end. Goes inside. Good kick to Lysette. Port want to go. Gives off the handball. And now they go through Sin. Sin comes off the left boot. And it's Port. Goes on the full. So Rosie just he rolled his ankles to the outside there, Connor Rosie. He may have to get that re-strapped at the moment. I think he'll be okay. He's just got a little bit of a hobble up at the moment. So now Daniel, been in great form, playing through the middle of the ground for a bit of this year for the Bulldogs. Bontempelli now in the back 50. Looks like they want to go through the middle of the Dogs. He goes with a dangerous kick, but it's a good one. Finds Bailey Smith. Here go the Dogs. O'Donnell now. Kicks it out wide. It's not the best kick. Has to make... It's Williams go for it. Gets it up off the bounce. Wheels around on the right boot now. Williams. Ugelhagen in a one-on-one. Great play there from Bergman to get back. Takes the mark. He's been in some great form, Miles Bergman. A lot of talk about a couple of Victorian teams wanting to pick him up from Port Adelaide. He's put his talks on hold for the end of the year, which can be a little bit concerning at times, but we have seen some players just want to focus on their game. Rioli's kick goes in short to Ollie Wines. Probably hasn't reached the heights of his Brownlow year a couple of years ago, Ollie Wines, but I guess now Port Adelaide are looking for a few different midfielders through the centre of the ground. Bontempelli gets the spoil. It trickles towards the boundary line, eventually gets there. It's a little bit of a lull after the quick start in this one. So maybe Butters trying to shake off the tag. He's already came off. English out the back, almost got the tap down. Bontempelli tackled there by Drew, but had time to get rid of it. Goes in short, finds McRae. West was the distributor there. So McRae, forward side of the wing. Playing a little bit more half forward this season with the emergence of Caleb Daniel going through the middle of the ground. It kicks it towards the forward 50. Great play there from Ugelhagen. Just bodied McKenzie under it. And he takes the mark on the Telstra logo. Probably been the best performing Bulldog this year inside the forward line. Is Ugelhagen. Takes a good mark there. It's a good kick there from McRae as well. McKenzie was not looking at the ball one bit. Probably could give him a free kick in the end. Ugelhagen comes in now, leaves it out to the left-hand side and goes through for a behind. First blemish of the night there for the Dogs. So Dylan Williams takes the kick-in duties here for Port. Goes in short, bit dangerous, but Rosie takes it well. He looks fine now, shaking off that little bit of an ankle. Back to Williams, and now the power can go. Oh, Houston, kicking short was terrible. Liberatore cuts that off with ease. He wheels around on the left boot, finds Norton in short. Norton, bats 55, 60 out from goal. Wheels around on the left boot, drives it long to the top of the goal square. It's a 3-on-1. Cody Waitman plays for the free kick. And he's got it! That was weak as piss. I don't want to hear that from the commentary. That was weak as piss from Waitman. He was nowhere near him. That's weak as piss from Cody Waitman. Fuck me. He goes in and kicks the goal. Fucking pathetic that was. Hardly touched him and he flew back like he was trying to win an Oscar. That was fucking pathetic. If you're expecting me to be a guy who just sits here and sits on the fence, you're going to be mistaken tonight. How you doing, Stuart? What are you up to tonight? That was fucking pathetic. I mean, granted, he didn't have to touch him, but he fucking threw himself to the ground, Cody Waitman. He's going to be known for that for the rest of his career. I hope he knows that, because imagine being known in the football world as a diver. Fucking hell. That was pathetic. Back in the ruck now. Both the interim ruckmen are in there. Lob gets the tap down. Comes through as Drew, left it behind. Liberatore taps it forward. McRae get a high one. Looks like they're going to take the advantage here, the Dogs. Liberatore goes into the pocket. Norton reaches for it, then drops the mark. Should have done better. Bergman taken down well there from Ugelhagen. Bergman spills it out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in. Norton should have really taken that. That was a chest mark and he dropped it. Yes, it was a bit low down, but he probably should have taken that one. So just on the 50 here, the Dogs. Who'd you tip? I tipped the Power. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, though, as we've seen so far. Lobber gets the knockdown. Liberatore handles it out the back. Daniel tries to put a step on Drew, but eventually puts it on the boot. Sin goes back with the flight. Should have marked it. Goes in for the tackle, though. Trelaw gets out to Dre. Drives it forward into the pocket. Ugle-Hagan drops a chest mark. Feints on the left. Brings it back inside. Gives in the handle to Liberatore. Snaps towards goal. Goes to the pocket and eventually rolls through for a behind. Who did you tip, Stuart? Who do you think's winning tonight? So Kane Farrell with a kick injury here for Port at the moment. Plays on, takes a bounce, a little bit unnecessary, but nonetheless. Drives it long towards the outer wing. O'Donnell lets it out the back. Coming through there was, I think, McEntee. Couldn't grab it, though. Scott on the wing. Good tackle from Travis Boak. Couldn't get rid of it. Scott trying to get to the line, and he's given a reprieve from the umpire. He'll be a ball up. Juan Francis gets tackled well here by a couple of Dogs. And he's getting a pin for it. So a free kick to the Dogs. Rory Lobb will get the free kick on the wing. Shaved off the blonde hair. Maybe he thinks that's the reason why his form's been pretty bad. He goes long. Ugle-Hagan overruns it. Jones from behind spoils it. Coming through his boat. Get it off to Jones. Here go the Power. He handles it forward here. Jones to Horn Francis. Puts it on the left boot. Up and under ball towards the wing. Coming through is Keith. Sported a good 20 metres forward. Gathered well, though, from Farrell. Wheels around on the left boot. Always lethal with that left boot. Good kick. Finds McEntee about 55 out from goal. He sees in the pocket. Dixon in a one-on-one. Great mark from Charlie. On Josh Bruce again. May not be the matchup tonight for Josh Bruce. He's been beaten 3 times already. And a chance here for Dixon, who's been out for a good month. A chance to kick his third. Great work from Port Adelaide down the wing here. So a chance here for Dixon. Kick his third. Not too much of an angle, not too much of distance to speak of. Kicks towards goal. Umpire barely moves and the Power get their third, courtesy of Charlie Dixon. Great start for Charlie Dixon. Definitely has no rust from his month off. He's been brilliant so far. Dixon kicked 3 in the first, 10 and a half minutes of playtime at the moment. Loving footy, Charlie. But great work here from the Power. They worked it forward quickly on the wing. Dogs couldn't get back in time. And Dixon a great mark. They may have to change that matchup pretty quickly because Dixon could be on a bit of a bag. Could be looking at a bit of a bag tonight. Back in the middle. Lysette. That was a terrible bounce from the umpire. Lysette got the tap down. Umpire didn't call it back though. Bontempelli has some time. Wheels around on the right boot. Goes towards the top of the 50. Good kick. Finds Riley West. He plays on as an option in short. Leading up. Poor kick though. Lob had to reach for it. Couldn't gather it. McKenzie just had to kick it into no man's land. Actually kicked it to Butters. Probably should have got 50 for it. Played on. Goes in short. That wasn't 15. Now Farrell had a lot of the ball early. Goes long to a one-on-one. Guess who? Charlie Dixon. Reels around on the right boot. The kick inside 50 was a poor mung. Rioli coming through. Put the body on the line. Still going after it. Bruce fumbles though. Gives it off to Rioli. Burn Jones looking for the high one. Didn't get it from Liam Jones. And it'll be a ball up. I think that move has to be made right now. He does not look comfortable at all, Josh Bruce, at the moment. He's fumbling. He's not looking good at the moment. Bontempelli dropped that one. Play onto the call. Trelaw works it out wide to Keith. Takes a bounce. Has a bit of space here, Alex Keith. Goes in short to find Ugle-Hagan. Umpire, I think it's called play on here. So he goes in short inside. Nearly cut off. Good mark from Scott. So he's on the wing at the moment. Anthony Scott. Sees McRae in short. That's gone about 10 metres, but the umpire paid it. So McRae works it back to Dale. Dale played on. Not really, but the umpire called it. Back to McRae. Just working up a couple of disposals here, the Dogs. Doesn't have many options here, McRae, so he's going to decide to bomb it long. He's got English and Norton in the pocket. Goes long. McKenzie cuts it off nicely for the power. A lot of tall options there, the Dogs. They've got to bring that to ground. They had Lob. They had English in that pack, and McKenzie just came back with ease, takes an easy mark. So he goes in short to Butters. Now Jones. These kicks have been 10 metres, but they're going to be paid by the umpire. So Lockie Jones in the back half. Looks like it's going to work it a little bit slowly, the power. Just don't want to get some... Want to keep this a little bit locked up at the moment. So Farrell goes in short, finds Bergman. Bergman had a handball option in Farrell, but decides to go longer. He got the power. It's Butters. He takes a bounce on the wing. He's got Williams trailing him. He kicks it inside. It's a dangerous kick, but it's actually going to work. Dixon probably should have marked it. Like I said, on the ground at Dixon. Dixon fumbles, coming through as Rioli. Had some space, did well. Off to Boak. Boak on the right boot. Kicks it to the top of the goal square. Horne-Francis in a one-on-one. Takes it! Great mark from JHF. Jason Horne-Francis. Great mark on Scott. Going back with the flight. Probably would have got a free kick anyway, but it was a great mark. Great kick from Boak. He's been out for a few weeks. Great kick there. He's been good early. And Horne-Francis takes the mark. So a chance here for Port Adelaide to take the lead. Horne-Francis snaps around. Easy goal. And Port Adelaide have their fourth. Game's a bit easy at the moment. Both teams being able to get inside their forward 50 with relative ease. Not much pressure on the ball carrier. Currently, there's no player in this game that's had a second tackle. So everyone's only had, there's only a couple with one. How many tackles have there been so far? I don't think there's been many. I'm trying to find it, but give me a minute. Here we go. Yeah, there's only been 13 tackles in this first quarter between both sides. I'm not really that surprised, to be honest. So back in the middle. Lysette wins it forward. He's won a few taps so far, but the Dogs have won a lot of the clearances. Straight to Treloy, gets immediately met by Rosie, be a ball up. Lysette thumps it forward a good 10 metres. Bontempelli grabs it. Good tackle from behind there from Horne-Francis and locked up for another ball up. Still a lot of time in this first quarter. Just under 7 minutes to go. We've seen 7 goals already kicked. Lysette out the back. Sin coming through. Couldn't gather it. I think it's his first full game of his career. Here go the Dogs. Liberatore out to Duray. Bontempelli's got some space. Had Butters chasing him. He gets the kick away. Norton's being grabbed there by Aaliyah. Play onto the call. He comes back inside. Gives it to West. West gets taken down there by Ollie Wines. Gets at the handball though. Norton breaks his tackle. Gives it forward. Liberatore feigns the handball. Eventually gives it out to Daniel. Good ball user. Goes into the pocket. Coming across was Bergman. Good play there from Lob. Gives it down to Waitman. And Waitman's got another. He's got 3 in the first quarter, Cody Waitman, and the Dogs get the lead back. It's goal for goal moment at Marvel. Did well there, Liberatore. He had Aaliyah coming at him, but instead of Aaliyah going for the tackle, he went to try and smother the handball that Liberatore is about to give. But just feigned it nicely, gave him an extra second of space, and then the Dogs were able to work it forward. Another goal in this one. Coming through was Lysette, get the free kick here. English wasn't happy about it. Gives it off to Farrell, usually a pretty good ball user. Thumps it a good 60 metres inside the forward 50. Bruce in front, can't win it. Coming through was Butters. Broke through the space. Zach Butters. Absolutely amazing. Cut through them like butter. No joke intended. Maybe it was. Great moment there for Zach Butters. Been a little bit quiet in this first quarter. Being met by a lot of Bulldogs players so far. But he cut through there so easily there, Butters. Been one of the players of the season so far. Looks like he's playing a little bit more forward at the moment, Zach Butters. A lot of people have been calling him a Gary Ablett-esque. I don't know about that. It's a little bit early, but he definitely has those attributes as a small player who can play through the midfield and be lethal, but also get forward and get goals. He was going to give it to Rioli. Probably just gave him that little extra bit of space on Jure. And a great finish there from Zach Butters. This is a great game so far. 9 goals in it. Still got a lot of time in this first quarter. There's still just under 6 minutes. Another free kick against Tim English here. This one for a knee. I really don't know about that one. That seemed a bit weak, but nonetheless. Lysette gives it off to Farrell. He drives it in the forward 50 once again. Dixon gets pushed out of it legally there from Jones. They look like they made that change pretty quickly. He gives it over the top, finds Scott. He works around on the right boot, goes long tour one-on-one. Good spoil from behind there from Houston, gets it out of bounds. I don't think this will be going much longer. I don't know about this free kick. I don't know. I don't know about these ruck decisions. They just seem fucking weak as piss. So back in the ruck, Lysette. He's won a lot of ruck taps so far, but he hasn't really taken a lot of advantage from it. Wines gets taken high there from Waitman. That'll be a free kick. So Ollie Wines gives it immediately to Houston. Port Adelaide want to move it quickly. He drives it long. Dixon in a one-on-one. Just run over it. Gives it to Finlayson. He dribbles it towards goal. Will it bounce? Palpepper on the line. He fumbles. Has some space. Great tackle there from Williams. Saved a certain goal. And it's a behind. Just Palpepper, the unfortunate fumble, just gave that little extra time there for Bailey Williams to make a goal-saving tackle. And it's gone through for a behind. The Dre will take the kick in here for the Dogs. Works it out towards commentary side wing. 2-on-1 here for the Dogs. Ugelhagen goes up uncontested. May have got a free kick. Play onto the call. Good tackle there from Malia on Norton. Got that one in the back there, Liberatore. Play onto the call. No, he'll take it back. So Liber will get the free kick here at half-back here for the Dogs. Rosie just landed flat in his back. It's in short to Vandermeer. That's gone to 6 metres. A lot of these kicks from both sides tonight have gone 6-7 metres, and the umpires have just paid it for a mark. Liam Jones goes in short, dangerous, but it was a good kick. Found Smith. So now Smith works it inside. Finds Bruce. Just needs to take a couple of easy touches here, Josh Bruce. Gives in the handball inside to Vandermeer. I don't know about that handball. He had a little bit of time to give it to Smith, and now he goes through the middle of the ground. Drives it long. Ugelhagen gets his hands up. Great mark. Going back with the flight. He's looking ominous early in this one. Like I said a little bit earlier, I think the Power will struggle tonight against these tall Bulldogs forwards. And we've seen there, Houston was on Ugelhagen there. You put these, when Ugelhagen gets his hands up that high, at full stretch, no one's going to get there. And a great take. So, Jamara Ugelhagen's already had a shot tonight. He missed the left-hand side. This is a little bit of an easier kick, but he's missed to the left once again. That's through for a behind. Should have kicked that one there, Jamara. Oh, he's turned it over. I don't know who that was. I was trying to change the score. The kick in short, I think it was to Houston, was a terrible one. I think it was from McKenzie. And Laurie Lobbs just cut it off. So the Dogs. Jamara just missed one. 7-point player for the Dogs. Maybe that's what he was hoping for. I doubt it, but nonetheless. Rory Lobb, about 25, 30 metres out. About a 30-degree angle. Comes in towards goal. Rory Lobb's hooked it a bit. And he's missed as well. Well, the Dogs have left a couple out there in this first quarter. Dogs lose tonight. It's their 3rd loss in a row. Brings them right back with the pack fighting for that 4th spot. How you doing, Mary? Long kick towards the wing. Picked up well there from Rosie. Gets the handball out the back. Just had some time. Marshall, first time he's seen it tonight. Works it inside. Goes over the top of Jones. Gets a very favourable bounce. He works it inside. Gives it into Williams. Williams kicks it inside the forward 50 on the bounce. Coming through is McEntee. If he grabs it, they're away here. McEntee works back on his right boot. Kicks it towards the top of the goal square. 1-on-1 was Finlayson. Couldn't gather it. Now Jure goes to ground. Good pressure from Port Adelaide. Locks it up for a ball up. Just over 2 minutes to go in this first term. Port Adelaide got inside their forward 50. Can be dangerous here, but looking for Butters, Rosie. Coming through there was McEntee, in fact. But well on there from the Dogs. Dale gives it to Smith. He has some time. McRae. Now to Scott. Kicks it long. Towards the wing. 2-on-1 here. Norton all on his own, but great mark from Aliir. He's been good this season. Had a poor season in 2022, but he's definitely getting into somewhat of that form here in 2021. Oh, God, the kick in short from McKenzie was straight to Jones, but he nearly dropped it. He works it across the ground. Finds Aliir. So now Aliir has some space on the wing. Takes a bounce. He drives it inside the forward 50 to Dixon in a 3-on-1. Don't know about that option. Bontempelli happy to see it out of bounds. What is football? I think they play it in England. Both teams have had 12 inside 50s in this first quarter. Been a very high scoring one. Dogs have left a couple out there in the past few minutes. Dixon gets a little tap down. Jones grabs it, then dropped it. Could be in trouble. Then English fumbles it. Coming through was Drew. Good smother there on the handball from Bailey Smith off to Bontempelli. He drives it down the wing. Waitman wasn't looking at that one, but didn't put any contact onto Aliir. Fumbles it towards a Farrell. That could have been a little bit in trouble there, Ugelhagen, but eventually he called for a ball up. Lysette knocks it out towards Wines. Back to Lysette. Gets a kick away, but it's a poor kick. Williams cuts it off in the middle of the ground. So now Bailey Williams been big in this first term. Probably one of the Bulldogs' best. Has some space. Kicks it long towards the wing in a 1-on-1. Lob puts the knee into Burn-Jones. Good mark. Plays on. Chancing for the Dogs to get a late one. He drives it long into the pocket. Up goes Waitman. Great mark. Had the space, had some time to jump on Farrell, and a good mark from Cody Waitman in the pocket. Had the 4 touches, already kicked 3 goals in his first term, Cody Waitman. Tough angle, goes in for the set shot, kicks towards goal. He's left it out to the right-hand side, gone through for a behind. So the Dogs have missed their last 4 scoring shots. They really could have put a bit of a gap on Port Adelaide in this first quarter. So Williams will play on here. Has an option over the top. Could find to Aliir. They're only about 16 seconds to go, so I think I'm surprised if Port Adelaide do much with it. Goes inside of Jones. He wants to go. Late chance here for Port Adelaide. He drives it long inside the forward 50. Marshall gets a little punch in the back, play onto the call. No way, a free kick's being pulled out here. And it's Josh Bruce again. He's given away another free kick. Josh Bruce has been the contributor of, I think, 4 of the 5 goals for Port at the moment. Pushing the back there against Marshall, that was pretty soft. But he's been in trouble so far. It just hasn't seemed to have reached the AFL standard this season. They've pushed him back. He hasn't done too well here. Chance here for Todd Marshall. Usually a pretty sharp shooter. Comes in from 30 out. Kicks towards goal. Todd Marshall gives Port Adelaide an 8-point lead going into quarter time. You're my favourite YouTuber? I doubt it, but I appreciate it. How could I be your favourite YouTuber? You don't know what footy is? It would take me 2 hours to explain it to you. How would you know I'm your favourite YouTuber if you've never heard football before? Alright, let me just bring up the statistics. I love it, yay! Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Alright. So just bring it up now, guys. Bring up the statistics. Just go to the fucking... Sorry, it's an Uber Eats ad. And it's like, fuck off, bro. Just go to the shops. If you can't go to the shops, you're a fucking moron. I mean, sorry, but for the advert, like, it's fucking annoying. Alright, guys, so quarter time. Leading disposal getters on the ground. Liberatore leads all comers with the 9 touches. 8 touches to Farrell and Bontempelli. Williams has the 7, and then Vandermeer actually has 6. He's taken over the role for Ed Richards, who had to come out of the team this week with a hamstring. And then Dixon leads all comers in the AFL fantasy points with 42. Waitman with the 38. Butters with the 37. Lysette with the 33. And then rounding out the top 5 is Jamara Ugle-Hagan with the 32. Long story short. It's hard to explain. That's the thing. What is football? You kick the ball. You kick the football. You catch the football. You can handball the football. When you go for goals, you kick towards you kick it in between the big sticks. If you miss, you kick it. There's 2 long sticks and 2 short sticks. You kick it through the big sticks, you get 6 points. You kick it through the small post and the big post, you get 1 point. There's tackling. There's running. There's a lot of other things, I'm assuming, that I'm trying to think of right now that I'm blanking on. Are you having fun? Yeah, I'm having fun. Smelly mouth guard? Who the fuck has a smelly mouth guard? Sorry, there was just another advert. I'm like, what the fuck? Who the fuck has a smelly mouth guard? Bro, brush your teeth. Brush your fucking teeth. Can I say your name 20 times? Mary. Mary. I don't know why, but anyway. So Dixon and Waitman, both with the 3 goals in the first term. Josh Bruce has had pretty much a quarter to forget. He'd want to forget about it. He let Dixon get 3 goals and then went to Marshall, who kicked a late one as well. He gave away the free kick. Had a bit of a tough start back in the AFL team. Is it 2D? No, it's a sport. So players getting back into position right now. So Liberatore has gone to Butters for a lot of this game so far, but Butters had a pretty good start to this one. Already got a goal as well when he's worked forward. So it looks like he's going to stand on Horn Francis in this first stoppage of the second term. So umpire bounces it down. We're back for the second term. In the ruck, Lysette just takes it out of there and sprints away from English. He started well in this one, Lysette. Into a one-on-one. Oh, I should have marked that, Pal Pepper. Play on, coming through his Butters. Kicks towards the top of the goal square. One-on-one Marshall. Gets over the back and trickles out of bounds eventually. Is a football an object? Yes, it's like a American football. It's a little bit more oval shaped. Back in the ruck, forward pocket here for the power. Dixon takes it out of the ruck, gives it off to Butters. Butters, good tackle from Liberatore. Just got the handball away though. Treloar breaks away from Burne-Jones, puts it on the left boot. It's a weird looking kick. Finlayson cuts it off, been quiet in this one so far. Breaks back to the left, runs back to the right. Rioli doesn't want to go from the pocket. Dribbles it towards Burne-Jones. Don't know about that option. Dre picks it up and will be a ball up in the pocket. So forward pocket for Port Adelaide. Finlayson takes the ruck on English. English coming through. Only he's had 2 touches so far. Rioli sets it up to the top of the goal square. Coming through was Jones. Left it behind. Now Dale dropped that one. Play onto the call. Daniel just jams it on the boot outside the forward 50. Waitman coming through. Ricochets off his leg. Houston and Bontempelli meet. And Bontempelli could be in a little bit of trouble here. So as we play, Houston... Oh, I think he'll be okay. He didn't go down for the football though, Bontempelli. He could be in trouble for that. Houston drives it inside the forward 50. Score leading Marshall. Just overrun it though. Palpepper slips in the forward pocket. Dale tackles him well. He could be in trouble here. And Palpepper's got a free kick for a high one. That's a tough call. That's tough from Palpepper. That's tough against Dale, sorry. He went to ground, Palpepper, lost his feet, and then Dale just went on top of him. So a chance here from Palpepper in the pocket. Snaps towards goal. He's hooked it too much. Goes through for a behind. So Dogs out a defensive 50. Finds Jure. Wants to give it off to Daniel. Usually a pretty good ball user. Takes a couple of steps and drives it long down the wing. Williams goes up. Great mark from Dylan Williams. Only played 1 game before this season, but he's been a revelation off half-back. Works it inside with a great kick to Horn Francis. He plays on into the pocket. 1-on-1 is Finlayson. Good work there from Keith to get back. And now Williams plays on. Goes in short to a 1-on-1 Norton. Good play from behind from Aaliyah. He steps around Keith. Gives him the handball to Drew. Great spin move. Now they can work it forward through Finlayson. Kicks it forward on the right boot, but it's not a good kick. Liam Jones cuts it off. Do you play football? I used to. Do I play foosball? No, I don't play foosball. I haven't played that in years. Fun though. Jones goes in short to Daniel. Been a little bit quiet in that first term. Goes into Treloar. Treloar in short. Not a good kick. Lob gets it tapped away. Sin over to Butters. Butters kicks it down the wing. Good cut off there from Dale. Knocks it out. I think Bontempelli is okay. But the thing is, though, he's run completely over the ball. Hasn't even gone down for it. And then just bumps Houston. He didn't get him in the head, though. Got him in the chest. I think he'll be okay. English taps it down. Coming through his Liberatore. At the back to Daniel. Now Bontempelli has some time. Kicks it down the wing. Coming through. Great mark there from Lob. What's a mark? It's when you catch it in your hands. Bontempelli gives it back to Lob. Now Daniel. Went to feint on the right. Then kicks it on the left down wide. Great kick. Finds Bontempelli on the lead. Back with the flight. About 60 out from goal. Bontempelli. Usually a great ball user. Inside the forward 50. Finds Jamara. Great kick. He's looked dangerous so far, Jamara Ugle-Hagen's only kicked the 2 behinds, though. Needs to start taking his opportunity. Great lead here from Jamara. Tried to get the... Led towards the left-hand side of the 50, towards the middle of the ground. Then just ducked back, led towards the pocket. Chance here for Jamara to kick his first. Hard kick for him. Kicks towards goal. That's a pretty nice kick from Jamara Ugle-Hagen. And he nails it. First goal of the second quarter. Some pretty easy shots from Jamara early. He missed completely, and that one in the pocket nails it. Oh, Jesus. Back, fuck. A little bit too easy there for the Dogs. The power did not put enough pressure on the ball user coming forward, and then Bontempelli Always a great kick. And that was not much better he could have done with that. Great kick. And a great finish there from Jamara. So back in the ruck. English thumps it forward. Smith and Horn-Francis. Smith can't gather it, just sockers it forward. Towards the boundary on the wing, coming through with Sin. Handballs it at the back to Williams. Has an option inside. He goes for it. It's Lysette. Great option. Lysette looking for a handball. He handballs it over the top to Houston, who's back on the ground. Gives it over the top to Butters. He breaks towards 50. Kicks it in. Great option. Finds McEntee going back with the flight. Got away from his opponent in Vandermeer. And McEntee takes the mark. Not so much the matchup tonight, but Butters versus Bontempelli. Whoever can play the better, I think, probably wins the game for their side. And both of them are really having an impact in this one. So Jed McEntee. In the side for his defensive pressure. Always great when he gets on the scoreboard for the power. He comes in, kicks towards goal. Jed McEntee's nailed it! Port Adelaide send it back out to a 9-point lead. Great finish from McEntee. Port Adelaide get there first for the second quarter. Still pretty high scoring at the moment. Already a couple of goals in the second term. Hang on. So now Waitman has the football on the outer wing. Kicks it in short to Daniel on the bounce. Eventually gathers it. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Up goes Bontempelli. Good sport from behind from Alia. Cut off a certain mark there from the Bont. And it was sport out of bounds. Just inside the forward 50 of the Dogs. How you doing, Jamo? Back in the ruck. Lysette knocks it down. Rosie runs towards the ball. Taps it. But it's out of bounds. So, who you ball in? Umpire throws it in once again. Lysette knocks it down. Coming through as Bailey Smith just bursted through the stoppage. Drives towards the top of the 50. Coming through there was Ugelhagen. Couldn't gather it. Aaliyah breaks past one tackle, then drops it. Dives on it. He's going to be in deep trouble here, Aaliyah. And he's gone? Oh, he got away with that. That was shocking. That's a holding the ball decision 100% against Aaliyah. That's a shocking decision. Nonetheless, grabs the ball, fumbles it again, Aaliyah. Coming through was Norton. Almost dove on it was Farrell. Ugelhagen burrows through, trying to get through. Eventually falls over and takes it down for a ball up. Back in the ruck, Norton gets the little tap down to Aaliyah. Leah comes off the side of the boot. That's dangerous. Williams handles it towards Ollie Wines. It was a little bit hard to gather it. West out the back to Treloar. Snaps towards goal. It's home. Bulldogs get another one back. It's goal for goal at Marvel Stadium tonight. What are you up to tonight, Jamo? Who do you go for? I go for the Swans, so wasn't a very good night last night, but nonetheless, who do you go for, man? How long's left? 14 minutes to go in the second quarter. Up the Giants. You're a Giants fan. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, Yeah, they're what, 14th or something on the ladder, but I think they're doing alright this season. And they beat us, so what do I know? That's interesting, though. Good on you, man. They'll be there. They'll be right in a couple of years, though. Back in the ruck, lob, thumps it forward. Ollie Wines could get there first. Coming through was Jones. Gave off the handball to Rosie. Been a bit quiet so far, Rosie. Bontempelli worries him out of it. Handballs it out wide. Daniel, good play. Gets the ball eventually. Works onto it. Now West has the chance to get rid of it. And be a ball up. God, the umpires are fucking just atrocious. That is 100% holding the ball. 2 they've completely missed. A sub. Cheers, man. Bontempelli can't get rid of the handball. Should be in trouble. And he's gone. I mean, whatever. I mean, that was holding the ball, but why didn't they pay the other 2? Whatever. So Bontempelli gets pinned for holding the ball on the wing. Willem Drew gets the free kick. Thumps it long towards the forward 50. O'Donnell from the behind fists it towards the boundary line. It trickles there. Liberatore gets there, though, in time. Kicks it inside. Dangerous kick. Bontempelli can't control it. Great spin move from Jones. Out to Butters. He works it out wide. Sorry, works it inside. He finds McKenzie. McKenzie into Bergman. Had a brilliant start. It's been a bit quiet since. Bergman plays on in the middle of the ground. Goes long to a 2-on-1. McKenzie goes back with the fly. Couldn't mark it. Now it's Vandermeer and McKenzie fighting for it. He gets it out there, McKenzie. Liberatore gets tackled by 2 power players. Dragged to ground. And it'll be a ball up. Great little spin move there from Lockie Jones. Sorry, there's so many Joneses in this game. There's Burn Jones, Lockie Jones, Liam Jones. Dixon knocks it down. Coming through is McRae. Couldn't get away the handball. There's Junior Rioli in there. Eventually Lob gets out the handball to Butters. Butters wheels on his right boot and kicks it long to the top of the goal square. Marshall, good spoil there from Jones. Will it get there though? Burn Jones in the pocket. Saps! I think it's through for a behind. So the Bulldogs go quickly. Now, on halfback, it's Bailey Smith. Brings it back to Bruce. Definitely not a game to remember so far. Josh Bruce. That kick is atrocious. Josh Bruce, one of the worst quarter and a half I've ever seen from a player. He's given away 4 goals against his opponent. He's given away a free kick for a goal. And that kick was off the side of the boot. Shocking kick. Just don't think he's a defender. I don't know. I just don't... They took him out of there, obviously, to fit Rory Lobb up forward this year. I just don't think he's a defender, Josh Bruce. In the ruck there was Finlayson. Pushed Lobb somehow illegally. Play on. Out to Liberatore. Rosie got shuck off there nicely from Bailey Smith. He drives it down the wing. Kane Farrell went back with the flight. Should have marked it. Worried him out of it. And the Bulldogs give away a free kick here. It's Arthur Jones. Another fucking Jones. But Farrell gets the free kick on the wing. So Farrell... Always a booming left boot. He thumps it long. Just inside the forward 50. Coming through with Dixon to cause a contest. He gets out the back to Marshall. Off to Rosie. You can mark this one in the book. Connor Rosie nails the goal for Port. Great finish. Was always going to be a goal when he got on his right boot. Always a great finish at Connor Rosie. And a great goal there for Port. Back to a 10-point ball game. That's a naughty word. What's the naughty word did I say? What did I say? I can't even remember what I said. Did I say the F word? I'm sorry. If I said the F word, get fucking over it. Sorry, Jamo. Come on, Jamo. That's a bogan name if I've ever heard it. You've heard worse. So Port Adelaide take a 10-point lead. They just can't break that 10 points at the moment. The Dogs have been able to score a goal straight after Port Adelaide. Can they do it again? Back in the ruck. English knocks it down, coming through as Liberatore. He's had a lot of space in this one. He kicks it inside the forward 50 to a leading lob. Play on. Aaliyah couldn't mark it. In between his legs, Jones somehow grabs it. Out to Boak. Boak gives a little 9-iron kick down towards Rosie, but goes over the top of him. Taps it inside was Liberatore. Bontempelli tackled well from McEntee. And then he gives away a sling tackle. That was a weak. That wasn't a weak. It's on in the middle of the ground at the moment. Liberatore, McEntee, Horn Francis is getting a couple of players thrown in. The umpire just says for them to get up. Who's my favourite player? Well, if I'm looking for favourite player, it's probably Tom Papley because I'm a Swans fan. But if I'm looking for outside of like Sydney Swans, I'm saying Matt Rowell. I love him this season. He's a fucking awesome player. Great mark in the back 50 there from Bergman. Matt Rowell's an awesome player to watch. He's been brilliant this year for the Suns. Not a bit of a surprise choice, but yeah, he's been good. So Bergman thumps it long. Great work there from Keith to get in front of Burn-Jones. So still into the forward half here for the Dogs. Love Tom Papley and Matty Rowell. I mean, I like Tom Papley because he has some personality, and I think that's just lost in the game now. But Matt Rowell's just an awesome player to watch. Kicks it inside the forward 50 there, Alex Keith. It was an absolute mung, but Caleb Daniel gets on the end of it. What was that for? Was that for a sling or for a high? Because I didn't really see it. I couldn't really see where it was from. And then Horn Francis got into Liberatore, along with Rioli, and then Giray came in with Rosie, and then Bontempelli came in, and then Rioli tackled Giray to the ground. No free kick was paid, which I thought was funny, but nonetheless. Caleb Daniel to get the Dogs back to within 4 points. He comes in, kicks towards goal, straight through the middle from Caleb Daniel. Dogs back to within 4 points. Do I like the West Coast Eagles? Not the way they're playing this season, man. They're fucking atrocious. How you doing, Mary? I think they've just mucked up they've just stuffed up their whole entire list. They've got too many old players that have signed on way too much money. Back in the ruck, English knocks it down. Liberatore gathered it, gave the handball out wide to Treloar. Treloar out to Williams, and now the Dogs work it forward through Liberatore. He's been brilliant in this first half. He drives it inside the forward 50. Great work from Lachie Jones. Worked himself in front. Why did you time me out? Because you were spamming at times, and then you just, as soon as someone else commented in the chat, you just told him to shut up, which is just not needed. Bontempelli drives it towards goal, and he's missed the lot there, the Bond. So Jones works it towards the defensive pocket to McKenzie. Been a close one so far, despite the high scoring. Now Jones. Keeping the captain out of the team at the moment, Lachie Jones. Keeping out Jonas, keeping him in the sandful. Works it in short to Farrell. You love Toby Green? I like him now. I think the start of his career annoyed me, but I think now he's actually a really good player. He's not just getting himself in the headlines by getting suspended every 3 weeks. So Marshall off the ground, play on, couldn't mark it, Dale. Rioli knocks it at the back. Boat, good tackle on Liberatore, was about to sling him, but didn't, which I thought was actually really good play in the 2023 of the AFL. Was about to sling him onto the ground, but decided to keep him upright. Lysette knocks it down, Boak gets dragged down and slung almost. Play on, out the back to Butters. He drives it inside the forward 50, but Keith cuts it off. No, I said go away because I like talking to you. You can still talk to me, man, but you don't have to be rude to other people. So Keith in the defensive 50 takes the mark. Goes into Williams. Oh, hit his toe, but he luckily marked it. So just under 7.5 minutes to go in this second term. Really high scoring game so far. Williams takes the ball and drives it long to the wing. Up goes Lachie Jones. Should be a free kick paid against him. Play on. Arthur Jones did well to worry Bergman out of it. McRae to lob. He goes inside the forward 50. It was a shocking kick though. Cut off easily there by McKenzie. He never gets suspended. He just plays a different sport when he boots someone in the face. Bro, he's playing karate. Oh my god, I'm a fucking moron. Why am I doing this and then can't even pronounce karate? He's playing karate while the rest of them are playing AFL. He's playing chess while the rest are playing checkers. McRae works it in short. Jones almost cut it off. Couldn't gather it, though. Did well to get onto the ball, but then eventually fumbles it out the back. Williams steps one, then kicks it long to a one-on-one. Jones couldn't mark it. Put enough pressure on Elliott to drop it. Jones probably get his first touch here. Couldn't get away to the handball. Could be in trouble here after Jones. And no, it'll be a ball up. I'm sorry. I forgive you. It's fine, man. All good. You subbed. I appreciate it, dude. Got away with that one there, Arthur Jones. Should have got rid of the handball. Just couldn't in time. Lysette knocks it down to Boak. Boak to Butters. Butters with a little handball off over the shoulder. Waitman can't gather Boak. Butters still working hard. Gets the handball forward. Duray. Warrior out of it by Powell-Pepper. Probably should have been a free kick. Treloar. Handball out the back to Williams was poor. Powell-Pepper now gets the football. Handballs it out to Boak. He drives it forward. We're on there for Marshall to cause a contest, but it trickles out towards Daniel. Off to Bailey Smith looking for the 1-2 with O'Donnell. He plays on. Works towards the outer side, but has to come back. Gives a kick out wide. Finds English. This is one of the first times I think English has taken a mark tonight. Do you know Cardman 22? Yeah, I know him. He's a pretty good... he's got like 22,000 subs on YouTube. Oh, he goes with a good, dangerous kick to Treloar, but he did nicely. Played on and drives it long inside the forward 50. Up goes McKenzie, but great spoil coming through as Bergman knocks it out of bounds inside the forward 50 here for the Dogs. My real name is Johnny. Why do you have your mum's account or something, do you, man? 5.5 minutes to go in this second term. Dogs down by 4 points at the moment, but inside their forward 50. It's been goal for goal in this second term. Lysette knocks it down. McRae and Boat wrestle. Butters can't get the handball out. Bontempelli handballs it to space, but only goes as far as Butters. He plays on. Little inside kick. It's dangerous to Boat, but it's actually going to work for him. He plays on. He gets in the back from Bailey Smith. Should be a free kick downfield. In fact, it is. So Horne-Francis will take the ball. Kicks it inside the forward 50 to a free Charlie Dixon. Bailey Smith was trying to chase down Travis Boak, but as he was running so fast, he just landed right into the back of Travis Boak. Good to see, though, that Bailey Smith went back to apologise. He didn't mean it. Don't see a lot of that nowadays, but so nonetheless, Horne-Francis took the mark at the forward 50 anyway, so it wouldn't have really mattered. But Charlie Dixon, been quiet in the second term, kicked 3 goals in his return game from a month off. Chance now for Charlie to kick his 4th. He drives it towards goal. Left it out to the left, and in fact, there's no ruckman on the line. English takes it on the defensive line. So now Daniel gives out the handball. Bruce tries to step Dixon. Does nicely. Eventually kicks it away there, Josh Bruce. Did well there. Long kick, lob. Almost bodied him out of it. Play onto the call. Lob almost fumbled it. At half-time, can you get me a go bucket from KFC? No. Oh, free kick to Rioli. That was... Oh, no, it was free kick to English. Sorry, I'm an idiot. I don't know what Rioli was thinking. Nonetheless, Sin has the football. Tackled well from Scott. It'll be a ball up. You're better, by the way. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So right on the 50 line here, the 50-metre line for Port Adelaide. Lysette and English fight for it. Lysette does well on the ground, but a great tackle from Treloar. Butters working hard, can't get it out. Well on there from Bailey Smith. Tried to break the tackle of Powell-Pepper. And it's holding the ball. Free kick to Powell-Pepper. So Bailey Smith, after being all apologetic to Travis Boak, not giving the same treatment to Sam Powell-Pepper, gets the free kick for holding the ball, and a chance here for Port Adelaide to get it back out to 10 points. Long way out, Powell-Pepper. He plays on, has a kick towards the top of the goal. Square up goes Dixon, gets over the top of him. Jones spores it away, trickles towards the boundary line. Williams will be happy to see this out and eventually just takes it out himself. I love ice cream, but I also like you. Best YouTuber ever. Oh, I appreciate it. I was just watching Cardman's live stream and I got timed out because I called him up. I said, hi, Cardigan. Oh, okay. Still inside the 450 for Port. Dixon knocks it down. Rosie couldn't gather it. Play onto the call. Dre probably got a high one there from Rioli and he gets the free kick. Rioli probably only 1 or 2 more weeks in this team and he's going to be dropped because he's not getting goals and he's not really putting on a lot of defensive pressure for the power forward line. They've got Orazio Fantasia waiting in the wings. Could be in soon. O'Donnell goes in short. What a shocking kick. And Rosie cuts it off. I thought it was Josh Bruce for a minute, but it was actually O'Donnell. And a chance here for Connor Rosie to kick his second. He's been a little bit quiet at times tonight. Had a very quiet first term. He's already got a goal in the second term, though. A chance here to kick his second goal. Rosie comes in. At 40 out, not too much, about a 45-degree angle. He leaves it out to the right-hand side. Has he scored? You know he hasn't. It's on the full. We feel special because you keep reading my comments. It's probably because he's got a lot more subscribers than me. He probably doesn't read them all. Oh, Dale goes in short. That was a dangerous kick. Dre took the mark and did well to spin out of it. He plays on, goes long. Lob couldn't mark it. Ugle-Hagan gets the handball at the back. Williams drives it long towards a 2-on-1 in Liberatore. Can't mark it. What on there from Bergman? He's been brilliant off half-back for the Power this year. That half-back to wing role he's been playing has been brilliant. Works it back to Farrell, and now Williams takes it at centre-half-back. Just under 2 minutes to go in this first half. He goes in short to find Rosie. Still in the back 50 here, the Power. Rosie works it out wide, makes Jones work for it, and it's a terrible kick. Came off the boot of Lockie Jones. I think it's on the full. It is. So it's on the full, free kick. I'm talking to you, by the way. To me or to Jamo? So Liberatore will take the free kick on the wing on the outer side. Doesn't want to go forward with a sloppy kick, so he gets it out the back with a sloppy kick to Bruce. He gives it back to Liberatore. He works it back inside, and eventually Keith takes the mark. Still over a minute to go. Shocking kick from Keith. Gets it smothered on the mark there from Rioli. Dixon does well to Butters. Rioli back to Butters on the wing. He's streaming forward. He's got Liberatore under his hammer. He kicks it, and he gets cut off pretty easily. Bruce takes the mark. Butters just a little bit unaware there. He goes in short there. Bruce finds McRae. You're the one that's talking. Oh, appreciate it. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about me. He just works it back to Williams. Under a minute to go in this first half. He drives it long down the wing. Rosie can't mark it. West did well at the back. Now Treloar takes a bounce on the wing. Boak on his hammer. He kicks it inside the forward 50. Houston couldn't get there. Gets at the back to Bergman. He's got Jones riding him. Gets at the handball only just to Liberatore. He snaps, but it comes off the side of his boot. That won't be 15. Bergman gets probably a little fist onto it. Slides off the knuckles. Treloar out to Lob. And now Daniel from 50 drives it towards the top of the goal square. No one gets their hands up. It's surprising. Gets just out of the grasp of Ugle-Hagan. It'll be a ball up. The ball in just outside the goal square in the pocket. What the fuck am I talking about? So 21 seconds to go in this first half. Dogs down by 4 points. Chance here for the Dogs late in this first half to get the lead though. Lysette knocks it out to Farrell. Just puts it on the boot with a dangerous kick. O'Donnell fumbles, but eventually gets onto it. Good tackle from Burn Jones and Rioli be balled up. How many subs do I have? I don't know. I think it's like 39. If you scroll down, you'll probably see it. 20 Carbon 22 time me out. Why? Lob gets it down to Boak. Boak just fumbles it forward. Dre got tackled well there from Burn Jones. Just in the middle of the ground, but it's about 1 second before half time. Port Adelaide looked like they'll take a 4-point lead into it. Knocks it down there, Lysette. And at half time, Port Adelaide take a 4-point lead. Alright, let me just bring up statistics, guys, then we'll get to half-time. Yeah, it's been a good game so far. Definitely better than last night's game. Not just because Swans lost, but because this game's been freaking terrible. Sorry, last night's was freaking terrible for a lot of it. Alright guys, so at half time, leading disposal getters on the ground, we have Zach Butters leading all comers with the 19 touches. He's been brilliant, probably best on ground, equal with Tom Liberatore, who's had the 18. Then we have Caleb Daniel with the 16, Bontempelli with the 15, and then Bailey Williams with the 14, rounding out the top 5. And then for the AFL Fantasy Watchers out there, we have Zach Butters with the 77, leading all comers. Caleb Daniel with the 65, Tom Liberatore with the 58, Dixon with the 58, and then Jack McRae taking out the top 5 with the 56. Alright guys, we'll be back after half time, so probably about 15 minutes from now.
G'day guys, and welcome back to the Boundary Riders podcast. Now we're up to episode 13, just completed round 10, and a lot of upsets happened throughout this weekend. We saw Geelong get beaten down in Geelong by the Giants. We saw
The Saints choke.
the Saints choke against Hawthorn. Even the Swans beating the Blues was, I think, a bit of an upset for a lot of people. But we missed you last week, so how did you think the round went?
Yeah, I feel like, I think it was a unpredictable week, really. But it was good to see the Sir Doug Nichols round. The entire rounds were both pretty powerful, in my opinion.
Both entertaining,
Yeah, and a lot of Indigenous players
stood up in those rounds.
Yeah, they did. And
Yeah, we saw a goal of the year contender from Isaac Rankin. Kasai Pickett as well kicked the goal the week before that and kicked one well this week against Fremantle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we always stand up in those rounds, those in the Indigenous players. But one thing that happened was the Gold Coast beat Western Bulldogs, and I know you didn't see this game. I watched this game and it was live on my stream. This was one of the worst umpiring performances I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
This was a one-sided. There was 12 free kicks, I think, given to the Western Bulldogs in this game before the Gold Coast got one. And one of the big things that was out of this game as well was a flop or a dive that was taken by a notorious diver in Cody Waitman.
Mm.
So this happened throughout the whole weekend. It wasn't just him. We saw Taylor Walker take one. We saw Max King take one. I think there are a few others as well. But what I wanted to... And I know it's been talked about this week, but I wanted to ask you, what do you think should happen if a player is flopping? Because basically, at this stage, you can get a fine for it, but in-game, it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I think a fine's just pointless. All that does is... it's great for the AFL because they get more money, but it does nothing for the game. In my opinion, a $5,000 or $1,000 fine that they receive for it, that's their money for the week. They won't care. The players won't care. The only players that would care would be probably the rookie players that would care a bit. But besides from that, it's just chunk change for them. So I think what you should be doing is giving away a free kick for it, like they do in soccer, but simulation.
They're even talking about it in the NBA now that players are starting to flop a lot. So the NBA are thinking of starting in the summer league, I believe, a foul is given. So in the NBA, it's a little bit different because obviously if you get a foul, it's one of your 5 or 6 or whatever it is now. So it is a big penalty. But in the AFL, I believe it should be a automatic. If they have a free kick, it should be an automatic reversal, like we saw with Taylor Walker. He got hit in the chest and threw himself onto the ground trying to get a 50-metre penalty. He didn't get it though. It was a good decision.
Oh, that one, I did see that. Yeah, sorry, I did see that. I did see some of them. Yeah,
that should have been an automatic reversal. And then the player who hit him, then they took a dive after it.
Yeah,
I think it was
Gardner.
Yeah. He took a dive. So I don't know, was it Harris Andrews or was it Gardner?
No, it was Gardner.
Yeah,
but
so it should have just been a reverse and then back to a reverse, and then Cody Waitman's one. The umpire was standing right in the vicinity of it, and he went into... So basically, his opponent was standing there, and then Waitman lowered himself as he was about to lead and threw his shoulder out so he would get hit.
By Ben Long. He had his arm out, and he's just like, I'm going to go for the high tackle.
And at this stage, this game could have been decided by this decision. Luckily, it didn't, and the Gold Coast won. And if you guys saw the clip of the call from Bailey Humphrey's goal.
Yeah. I did see.
That was a great finish.
I did see the end of the game of that, and I was one of the lucky people that tipped the Gold Coast because, I know. I think you explained it, didn't you? Because I did explain it to you before because I wasn't here last week.
I explained it in the stream now as well about how you called it because the condition changes of the Gold Coast going from the Bulldogs going from Ballarat cold, windy to a very humid, hot, wet. It was 27 degrees throughout that game. So I did think it showed at stages, but I think the Gold Coast were very good in that game. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But with the flopping, last thing before we move on to a little bit more, but I think, like you said, I think a free kick should be automatically awarded to the player. Against the player who flops.
Yeah.
Or a reversal of a decision, or vice versa. I hate it when, and I'm not saying it's just those three players that are culprits. A lot of players do it all the time, and it shouldn't matter what player it is. It should be a decision.
Yeah.
Like I know a couple of Swans players, who have done it in the past, and when I see a Swans player do it, I go, "Oh, that's fucking shit! Don't do that." I hate when any player of any team does it because it's just shit for the game. You don't want to see a player throw themselves on the ground. You don't want to be known as a player who's in his career as a flopper. No, it's not a good name to be called. You want to be known as a great player. You don't want to be known as a flopper. And I think there are a few players now who are starting to bring themselves up to be known as a flopper, and no one wants to be. If you want to be known as that in your career, I don't think so.
Yeah, but there's also one more thing that I want to say about this flopping. Gold Coast are one of the most under pressure teams this season. Stuart Dew is one of the most under pressure coaches this season, and that nearly cost them that game. And it probably wouldn't have cost him his job, obviously, but.
Well, I mean, it could have been.
When you look at the end of you look 2 years down the track, maybe next year, sort of thing, and you look at people won't remember this moment of Cody Waitman getting that free kick. They'll look at the win-loss record.
Yeah.
And that's what the board members at the Gold Coast would look at.
Yeah, they wouldn't be remembering, we lost that game because of this.
Yeah,
we lost that game.
Yeah, you lost that game. So, it just didn't look good, and I think there needs to be a different change than, a fine, because players won't care. Players don't care.
Yeah.
They don't.
The amount of money they get paid, $5,000, isn't gonna hurt them too much.
No.
So, maybe it should even be games suspended, but I still think it should be a penalty inside the game. It shouldn't be a penalty after the game.
Yeah. But the standard of umpiring throughout the whole week, I thought was pretty bad in the holding the ball decisions, in my opinion. But
there are a couple of shockers.
There was a couple of games that I think it was the Geelong. No, I think it's the Fremantle game. Sorry, that one player drops the ball instantly, gets tackled instantly. He gets tackled 3 seconds later, drops the ball, wasn't paid. Literally the next contest, the exact same thing, and it was paid against the other team. I thought it's the same thing, but 2 different standards, 2 different rulings.
2 different rulings because they're 2. I don't even know.
Different interpretations.
Yeah, I hate that. There shouldn't be a different interpretation based on the different umpire. Because
Yeah.
I get that they're 2 different people, but they should all be following the same rule. There shouldn't be a umpire's decision based on what their feeling is.
Yeah.
It should be if they've dropped the ball, or if the decision is there to be paid, you pay it.
Exactly. So,
but anyway, nonetheless, last week you weren't here, and something really big happened. I know we covered this last week, but Damien Hardwick obviously lost his job at Richmond.
Yeah.
Well, he left his job at Richmond. And last week, a lot of talk was about who's he going to coach next. And one big candidate is Port Adelaide.
yeah.
Obviously, you being a Port supporter, I wanted to ask you if, at the moment, Port Adelaide are playing really good footy. They've won 8 in a row. They're probably up there as a contender at the moment because Melbourne have lost their last 2 games. Really, the only one who's competing at the moment is Collingwood. So Port Adelaide are in as good a form as Collingwood at the moment. If you had a decision right now, if you had to pick Damien Hardwick to coach Port Adelaide next season or Ken Hinkley, who would you choose?
I know a lot of people that know me would disagree with what I just said, but I'd say Kenny.
You'd say Ken
Yeah.
Hinkley?
I just
Before the start of the year?
Yeah, before the start of the year, I'd say Dimmer straight away. And I'd say that probably 3 weeks in after the showdown. But I don't... Yeah, I just don't think... I think there's a lot behind the scenes of Dimmer Hardwick since the 2021 season after they lost... after they won their last premiership.
2020.
Yeah, 2020. There's been a lot of behind the scenes stuff that's happened to him, to Hardwick, and I don't think that some of that stuff has come out yet. So I think there's a lot of other things behind the scenes for him, but...
I think one thing as well is... The one thing that Ken Hinkley's always had on his side is that he's been loved by the Port Adelaide players.
The players have absolutely loved him.
And we've seen this year as well that now he's finally given the faith to younger guys. We've seen Zach Butters, who has been compared to Gary Ablett Jr. in the past few weeks, and he's played brilliantly. We saw last week as well. He probably played one of the best games of anyone this season as a solo effort. We may have actually been beaten out by a certain player this week, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But Yeah, we also see Connor Rosie go through there. We don't see Ollie Wines as much going in there, being the lone guy. We're not seeing Travis Boak go through there as much anymore. And obviously the players like Robbie Gray and stuff are obviously retired now.
Yeah,
so Port Adelaide have had to go to their youth. And I mean, even Xavier Dersmer in the first few rounds of the season playing on the wing, he was playing some very good footy before he got injured. So, and also I think one big thing for Port Adelaide that they've done, that Ken Hinkley's done, is that he's picked players who can play a role.
Yeah.
Like, they've lost big players, like, basically their two key forwards in Todd Marshall and Charlie Dixon. They've found Ollie Lord, who no one would have expected to come in this season and play a role, but he has. And, you know, Jed McEntee as well is playing really good as a small forward when he's locking out players like Orazio Fantasia, who would have a better resume, but they're not playing their role as well as they are.
And injury, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not in the team. He was dropped before he got injured. So I think that Ken Hinkley, if Port Adelaide will keep on going though, they can't just drop off. We've seen what they've done. If Ken Hinkley misses finals from here, or even I think Port should be making top 4 from here. They've got a pretty good run. And, you know, they've got games at Adelaide Oval where they shouldn't be losing. We've seen the Crows haven't been pretty hard to beat there this year, and the Port Adelaide have been hard to beat as well. So Port are going to continue to win their games. But if they can hold to the form that they have, make finals, possibly push deep into finals, Ken Hinkley should keep his job. Yeah. But if he drops off and there is a job there for Damien Hardwick, there's a chance that he gets that job.
Yeah, it's pretty much that Port make finals. I think Port have to at least make the semis. I think for Kenny to keep his job, but it'll be interesting. But I think he said during the press conference after the game, he's like, yeah, you could win 10. Well, you can win 5, 8 at the moment, 10, 15 in a row. But it doesn't matter if they don't make finals.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
He's going to have to do some good stuff throughout the rest of the year. But I think, like you, if this was 3 weeks, if this was a month ago, in Damien Hardwick, a month and a half ago, and Damien Hardwick left his job at Richmond, I'd be saying Port Adelaide should be on the phone immediately. But now, he's now proven. I think Ken Hinkley's always been known as a pretty good coach, but he's just had those problems throughout late in the finals, and obviously the big drop off last year was not good for Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
But I think now, if he can hold this spot, he's obviously got Jason Horne-Francis as well. He picked up well in the trade period. His recruits have been playing well in the past.
No,
this year.
Not all of them, but yes.
Well, this year they're playing pretty. Who?
I will get to it. I think. I think Giniarelli's been pretty down on he's got, but
but I mean he's been one, and I mean if he comes, he's probably one.
I think Aliir, from last season to this year, he's got back to the season that he had in 2021 when he was nearly.
Well, he was all Australian.
Yeah, he was all Australian. So I think.
No, but I mean, like, this year, the recruits that they've got over the past few years, the majority of them are playing well. Like, Jeremy Finlayson, Jason Horne-Francis, a couple of others. Yeah, and even Ryan Burton, to an extent, is playing a different role. He's playing pretty well up forward.
Yeah.
But anyway, now we'll get into the votes for the week. So, this week, a couple of major upsets. Obviously, we'll go through them throughout the round. We started off with a game, Sydney versus Carlton. This started off round 11. This was a huge game for Carlton and both teams, but I think especially for Carlton because they had their two key forwards there. They had a chance against a team who has a diminished backline. But one person who really stood out and probably won the game for Sydney was Nick Blakey.
Yeah,
he was massive in this game.
I didn't watch all of this game, but I watched the last quarter, and my God, was that the only quarter you had to watch in that game to see who was best on ground.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that Chad Warner actually won the medal for this game.
Yeah, I think that they must have taken the vote before 3/4 time because it was seriously Nick Blakey who was the best on ground.
Yeah, he was insane, and he got my 3 votes in this one. Chad Warner did get the 2. He played brilliantly. And also Jake Lloyd, I gave the 1 vote. He played really well. And he's having a pretty good year, Jake Lloyd, as well. But Nick Blakey, I know Kane Corn said that he deserved 900 a year. I don't know about that. But now that I think a big inclusion for Sydney was Lewis Melican because that it meant that Nick Blakey didn't have to play one-on-one with a Charlie Curnow or a...
I think Aaron Francis also going back. I think
he played very well in this game.
I think they found... I don't know why they tried him forward, but he is a backman, Francis, and he did show also in that last quarter that it was needed with some of the. I think he had like 3 intercept marks as well as Blakey. He had 6.
But yeah, Nick Blakey was insane in this game, and he is starting now. Considering the start of his career, he just couldn't. He was always recruited as a half forward to a midfielder.
Yeah.
But because he's such a lethal left footer, and he's just always on the run, he's a defender, and he's a very good one in that. So he played really well. Sydney played incredibly well in this game, I think. But Carlton just kicked themselves out of it. They kicked 6 goal 15. Harry Mackay. I know people have been mentioning, and maybe I'll even talk about this, Harry Mackay potentially going to Sydney at the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know his deal, that he's got a 7-year deal at Carlton, doesn't start until next year.
So get rid of him, why not?
It's Sydney shouldn't... And I don't know if a lot of people think this as Swans fans, but I don't think Sydney need to go for need to go for a marquee key forward like they have with... Obviously, they've listed the Lance Franklin... Tony Lockett, Barry Hall, Warwick Capper even going back that far. But I don't think Sydney need to go for a big key forward next year if Buddy Franklin... Well, I think Buddy Franklin does retire. But I don't think that Sydney need to do that. I think that they should do what they did similar in 2012 where they got all these recruits who, like, you know... I'm not saying they should go for, like, players who can't get a game at their club, but pick players who we need. Like, for example, Sydney need a ruckman, Sydney need a key defender... and I think an extra midfielder.
Yeah.
That's my... I think that's what Sydney need. Paddy McCartan they just came out and recently said that Paddy McCartan will not play for the rest of the year, which is obviously sad to see, but I don't think he's going to come back ever. That's unfortunate to think about, but I don't see him coming back to the game at all because it's just too dangerous for a club and too dangerous on his body himself, so I really don't see him coming back. And I think Sydney need to realise now that they need to go for a key defender. We've got Tom McCartan, he's also got some concussion issues as well. He's not going to be back this week. I don't think he'll be back very quick after the bye either. It looks like Dane Rampy will be back after the bye. Sorry, that's this week. Obviously, Sydney got the bye this week. Don't worry about me. But yeah, I think that Sydney need to look for a key defender. I think they need to look for a ruckman. And I know one thing that no one's mentioned yet. Obviously, Sean Darcy's going to be out this week for Fremantle. And Luke Jackson played brilliantly against Melbourne last week when he went solo. Sydney should be calling up the phone to Fremantle, say, hey, we'll give you a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
We will take Sean Darcy off your hands.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm Sydney right now, I am calling up Fremantle and saying, Sean, come to the Sydney Swans, man. We will take you with open arms. That's what they need to do because Sean Darcy is a ruckman. Luke Jackson is a ruckman. They can't have 2 guys on their list that are A-grade ruckman on their list because neither of them are forwards.
Yeah, and like I know the speculation was Tom De Koning to Sydney, but I think it's shown recently that the big bustling ruckman can work. Yeah, especially with Darcy, who is.
I think also with younger midfielders.
Yeah, and I think he's shown that he can do it by himself, obviously, and that. When he does do it with 2 players, it diminishes his role, in my opinion. So I think going up to Sydney, Tom Hickey's probably near the end of his career. He's got a lot of injuries at the moment.
Yeah.
So
Peter Adams I don't think he's taking the spot.
I don't think
he's
so.
He's still a bit injured.
And like you've always said, that he's a forward ruck. He's not a ruck forward.
Yeah.
Or a ruckman.
Yeah. And Sydney have had problems in the past with having ruck forwards have to play full ruck.
Alright guys, so back up for the second half. Players moving back to position now. How you doing, Charlie? Third quarter is about to get underway. And to start the third quarter, I'm trying to fucking bring up the time thingy. I've got my glasses off so I can hardly see. Umpire thumbs it down for the third quarter to begin. Boat coming through, gets out the handball to Horn Francis. So now Port will get the first clearance of the second half. Big game for both clubs tonight. Ollie Wines takes the mark. I want to know your thoughts. I can do it to soak it up the way I can soak it. I can't read all that. I can't read. Rioli gets at the handball. Coming through was West. Just got it tapped away from him. Spills out to Liberatore. Handball over the top was actually nice and clean. Williams gets tackled well from Rioli. Gets away the kick just in time. And it'll be a ball up. English gets the tap down to Boat, just fumbles it. Goes to Treloar and Wines, and it'll be another ball up. Just outside the forward 50 here for Port Adelaide. Lysette knocks it down. Butters gets almost a high one there. Boat taps it out the back. Now Smith gets away here for the Dogs. Bontempelli over the top to McRae. Now West. Went for a handball, then eventually worked inside, let the traffic pass him. Eventually gets it out to Smith. Now they're back to West, and then West's handball was poor. Gets a high one there on McKenzie. And all that hard work there for the Dogs is wasted. Free kick will go to Trent McKenzie at half-back. I'm hungry. We'll buy some KFC. He works it in short to Houston. Now Port want to switch it. Elia got a lot of space in the middle of the centre square. He gives it a kick to Butters. Dangerous kick, but it's a good one. Finds him at about 80 out from goal. Kicks him inside the forward 50. It's a poor kick, though, from Butters. Cut off well there from Vandermeer. Probably the worst kick he's made in about a month, Zach Butters. So Vandermeer works it out to half-back to Williams. Goes in short to Keith. So not much movement at half forward here for the Dogs. So Keith has to make it work. Drives it long to a one-on-one. Lob. Didn't put their hands out. That was a bit poor. Couldn't gather it on the bounce. Now Smith did well to spin past Wines. McRae out to Williams. He drives a high one towards half forward. Up goes Jones. Went for the fist, which was poor. Boat gathers it. Good tackle from Treloar. Spills out. Treloar tries to dive in with the one hand. Somehow got out of there. He somehow gets through. Adam Treloar goes towards goal. Great mark. Going back with the flight with Willem Drew. I don't know how Treloar got out of that, but he just walked through and all the players were looking around wondering what happened. But Drew on the last line took the mark and he goes in short to find Dylan Williams. Support playing a little bit slowly in the second half so far. Goes short to Farrell. So Farrell plays on and drives it long towards the wing. Pack of players go up. Liam Jones overran it. Out the back go the power. Finlayson handballs it to McEntee. Couldn't gather it there. Horn Francis handball was out of reach. Bailey Smith's been good tonight. Gets tackled well from Ollie Wines. Takes him over the line. Ollie Wines is a bit sore at the moment. He's getting up slowly. And he eventually gets up. Eventually shakes it off Ollie Wines. Tough player. Got driven into the ground there. Was Ollie Wines. Hit the head really hard on the turf. And the Marvel Stadium turf is right just above the car park. So that's cement under this grass. Would have hurt. Kick down the wing there was poor there from, I think, Liberatore. Cut off well there from McKenzie. So a little bit of an arm wrestle early in this third term. No one scored yet. Considering this has been a high-scoring game, there's been a bit of a lull at the moment. McKenzie drives it long inside the forward 50. Up goes Dixon with the hands. Couldn't bring it down. Coming through was Rioli. Met hard there from Dre. And now the Dogs can move. English. And now Vandermeer working off half-back. Takes a couple of big long steps and kicks it down the wing to Waitman. It gets out the back. Aaliyah gets a tough bounce and Waitman works forward. Almost trips over. Cody Waitman has an option inside the forward 50. It's a poor kick though. Hagen works hard to get onto it. Breaks out of the tackle of Williams. Handball just out of reach from Lob. Coming through was Houston. Good tackle there from Riley West and it'll be a ball up. Bad kick there from Cody Waitman. He did so well, but then he just wasted it at the final stage. So a stoppage inside the forward 50 for the Dogs. Uncontested was Lob. Gave it the handball to Treloar. Treloar threw it out. But Horn Francis gets the kick away. Not too far forward though. Dure's going to cut it off and they work it forward now the Dogs. Williams with a short kick inside the forward 50 to a lone Tom Liberatore. Being the best player for the Dogs tonight. Chance here to kick his first. He's been brilliant tonight in the middle of the ground. Being the best player on the ground. Chance here to get the Dogs the lead, which they haven't had since midway through the first quarter. Liberatore comes in, runs a little bit out to the left-hand side, and guess what? That's exactly where he kicked it. He goes long here, Port Adelaide, but Bontempelli cuts it off. Got a bit of an elbow there from Finlayson, but I think it was just a little bit of whiplash on Bontempelli. Took the mark. Bont goes in short, finds Dale. Dale kicks towards the forward 50. It's a poor kick, though. Cut off forward there from Jones. Great tackle from Vandermeer on Burn Jones. Drags him down. It'll be another stoppage. Ollie Wine's been met by the doctor. They maybe have a head knock issue, but they seem fine on the... The doctors went out to him, and he seems okay now. In the ruck, English spills out to Liberatore, kicks it forward. Lob on the ground, couldn't gather it. Good pick up there from Norton. Breaks one tackle, then tackled well there from Elia. Lockie Jones gets it off to Boak. Boak has to spin back onto his right foot. He just snaps it across his body. Does well there, Burn Jones. Couldn't gather it, though. Now Waitman goes inside the forward 50, but cut off pretty easily there from Travis Boak. Boak goes in short to Elia. So quite congested in this third term. The free-flowing first half has definitely been cut down. Both coaches have had enough of this high-scoring game. Want this to shut this right down. Elia goes down the wing. Picked up there from Drew. The Drew handball inside was poor. Bailey Smith did well, but then couldn't gather it. Boak did nicely. Burn Jones off the ground. Gets it forward to Powpepper. No one can really pick it up at the moment. Burn Jones tries to soccer it off the ground once again. Liberatore was clean when everyone else was sloppy. Gets it out the back to Bailey Smith. His kick came off the side of his boot. Now Port Adelaide working forward. Drew's handball was poor on the toes of Finlayson. He can't gather it. Vandermeer was a shocking handball out to English. Tried to step Drew. The handball underground there from... This is a real tough couple of minutes to watch. Daniel spins out of trouble of Powpepper, but takes it out of bounds. Definitely not one for the highlight reel there, that one. That little passage of play from both teams. But we're on the attacking side of the wing here for Port Adelaide on the outer side. Back in the ruck. Lysette's had the win over the All-Australian likely candidate in English. Great tackle from Helen Francis, but just got the hands free there, Bontempelli, at the crucial time. Gathered by English, and now the Dogs can work it through Bailey Smith. He kicks it down the wing. Good kick, finds Waitman, who takes the mark. So Waitman has the football. But two good kicks away from goal. He drives it inside the forward 50. Up goes Jamara, can't bring it down. Jones over the top to Butters, and now Burn Jones gives it off to Wines. Just gets the hands free in time. Powpepper back to Ollie, streaming through the middle of the ground of the power. He drives it inside the forward 50 with a great kick. And a great mark from Todd Marshall. He's got Finlayson in short over the top, and that's exactly where he goes. The Jeremy Finlayson being quiet tonight. Came off a big game last week against Hawthorn. Big chance here to get his first. Great work from Port Adelaide, just streaming through the middle of the ground. No defence can stop that. And it was a great kick going inside the forward 50 to Todd Marshall. But now Finlayson, a chance in the forward pocket. Loves these kicks around the body. Jeremy Finlayson, like a work of art. Jeremy kicks the goal, and Port Adelaide get to that 9-point lead. So Port Adelaide get the first goal of the second half. After a bit of a seesawing effort early in this third term, Port Adelaide get the first. Oh, it's cold in this room. Jesus Christ. Cheese and rice. Ollie Wine's probably not known for his inside 50 kicking. He's usually a clearance player, so his kicking isn't the greatest, but that was a great kick going inside the forward 50. Marshall was actually on a 2-on-1, but he just kicked it straight to the advantage of him. It was a great finish. Finlayson loved it, and the Port Adelaide have the first. Lysted in the ruck, knocks it down. Butters just soccers it forward a good 20 metres. Gathered was McEntee, did nicely. Back to Wines, he's been good. He drives it inside the forward 50 now towards the top of the goal square. Marshall can't mark it. Finlayson out the back, gets out the handball to Dixon, and Dixon has another! Port Adelaide are on a bit of a run now. Great work from Charlie. He's got his fourth. After not much happening early in this third term, Port Adelaide get two quick ones and take a 15-point lead. When this game's been quite a close one, it's been basically a goal or two the difference since early in the second term. Now Port Adelaide send it out to a 15-point lead. Todd Marshall grabbing his shoulder a little bit there. He should be able to shake it off. Ken Hinkley having a bit of a smirk on the boundary line. But great work there from Port Adelaide in the air. And I think that's what they missed a little bit last year when they had the three tools up there. They didn't really work well as a trio. A great goal there from the power. They take a 15-point lead. Back in the ruck. English knocks it down, coming through with Bontempelli. Dropped it onto the ground. Treloar gathers it back to Liberatore. He sends up a high one. Going back with the flight with Sin. Good mark. Sin goes in short. Bit of a dangerous one, but Williams takes it. So True's and half-back is Dylan Williams. Williams works it in short. Just taken there by Houston. And now Port can go. Alir drives it inside the forward 50. Score one-on-one. Marshall sits the hands up. Can't gather it. It's tapped towards the boundary line. Jones and Powell-Pepper meet it. Both of them want to see it over the line. And Jones is happy to take it over. 11.5 minutes to go on this third term. Port lead it by 15 points. Kicked the last 2 goals of the game. Both subs have not been used yet. Oscar Baker and Port Adelaide is... Hang on, just have to quickly check that one once again. It is Riley Bonner for the power. Back in the ruck. Dixon taking the ruck duty inside the forward line. He gets the tap. Liberatore handles it at the back to Bontempelli. Just jams it on the boot down the wing to a one-on-one. Lysette works hard, gets it off to Rosie. Rosie puts it on the boot, back inside the forward 50. 2-on-2. At the back is Marshall. Liam Jones not too impressed. But the ball just got over the back of the big contest in front of him. Great work from Rosie. He started off this game pretty quietly, but he's kicked a goal in the second term. And he's been really good in the past quarter and a half. Chance here to give Port Adelaide a 21-point lead, which I think would be the biggest of the game so far. Tough kick here for Marshall, though. Pretty tough angle here in the right forward pocket for a right footer. Marshall, usually a pretty good sharpshooter, comes in. Kicks towards goal, Todd Marshall. He's left it out to the right-hand side. Goes through for a behind. The Dogs work it on the outer side now. He goes in short. Dale finds Bailey Smith. Smith kicks it down the wing. It's going to go on the bounce to Scott, but he picks it up. Anthony Scott out the back to Bruce. Now English working with the hands here. The Dogs, O'Donnell. Feign the left handball, eventually goes in short. Dangerous kick though, cut off by Rosie. Rosie to Wines, had to reach for it, but he kicks it in short. Ollie Wines. A great work from Port. It's just showing outclassing the Dogs at the moment. And Todd Marshall, a chance here to repay the favour from the last kick. Kick his second, I believe. And give Port Adelaide a 22-point lead. He's hit 1 goal, 1 tonight, Todd Marshall. Only had the 6 touches. Probably hasn't met the standards that he did last season. Was a massive player for Port Adelaide last season when they were poor throughout a lot of the season, especially at the start. Chance here for Marshall, pretty much straight in front, 30 metres out. Todd Marshall comes in. That's as easy as you like for Todd. Port Adelaide go to a game-high lead of 22 points. Great kicking action from Todd Marshall. It was a tough kick, the one just a few moments ago, and he just missed to the right-hand side. But straight in front, Todd Marshall, probably the best option in the comp. Still 9.5 minutes to go in this third term. The Dogs need a lift at the moment. Liberatore in the middle is really the only one who's giving them a service. This kick inside from Anthony Scott was a really poor one. And Ollie Wines with another great kick inside the forward 50. So back in the middle. Gets the tap down there. Lob coming through his Horn Francis. Just left it behind. And now the Dogs can get the clearance. Treloar off to Bailey Smith. And the Dogs working forward. Inside the forward 50. You're leading Jamaro Ugle-Hagan. Takes the mark. Was about to wheel around on the left boot. Looking for an option. He says, I'll do it myself. Smothered on the mark though. Bergman just handballs it forward to no one in particular. Ugle-Hagan out to Treloar. That was almost a throw. Bailey Smith out to McRae. McRae works it in short. And the Dogs have a kick inside the forward 50 courtesy of Riley West. So a big chance here for the Dogs to get back into this contest. They've been out of it for the last 10 minutes. That was a throw. Maybe a throw from Treloar. It wasn't a very legal handball, but I guess the umpire let him have it. But Riley West came back into the team this week. He's had the 7 touches so far. Played a little bit of midfield time tonight. In the right forward pocket, Riley West comes in. Pretty nice kick from West. And the Dogs get one back. Back to 16 points. Still got Oscar Baker on the bench. Huge runner, this guy. Looks like he's about to get ready, getting the boots wrapped up, getting the boots tied up once again. I think he's doing his last run-throughs here, so I think they're going to make their change very soon, the Dogs. Wouldn't be surprised if O'Donnell comes off here. If they want to maybe choose a small forward, I think Arthur Jones, just been out of this game tonight, he's probably a big candidate to be taken off. But I think they do need a little bit more run in this game, the Dogs. Currently leading ball winners on the ground. Liberatore has been brilliant for the Dogs tonight. Been best on ground for the Dogs with the 25 touches. Butters with the 22 for Port Adelaide leads all comers for the Power. Back in the middle. Lob gets the tap down. Butters does nicely and sprints out of the stoppage. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Sack Butters. That is some beautiful football. And Todd Marshall on the lead takes the mark. Two players right now in a bit of trouble. It's Alex Keith and Pal Pepper. Both get to their feet. They look okay at the moment. But that was a brilliant kick from Zach Butters working inside the forward 50 to a leading Todd Marshall. That is the Port Adelaide playbook out of the middle of the ground this season. So Todd Marshall comes in to kick his third. He's already had 2 set shots this quarter. This is his third. Todd Marshall about a 15-degree angle. 40 metres out. Marshall comes in. Kicks it to the right. Didn't look like his normal kicking action, to be honest, and he kicks it behind. So O'Donnell has been subbed out for the Dogs. Oscar Baker will come into the game, a runner, which I think the Dogs really need at the moment. Not too surprised by the O'Donnell substitution. Hasn't done much tonight. So they're working it down the wing here, the Dogs. Vandermeer. Defensive side of the commentary side wing. Defensive side of the wing on the commentary side. Fucking hell. Vandermeer works it out the back here. Defensive 50 to Josh Bruce. He plays on. Really doesn't have too many options, but just gives it off to Daniel, making his problem. Daniel, usually a pretty good ball user, finds Alex Keith. So Keith takes the mark at half back. He wants to give it back to Daniel, always a great ball user. Goes in short, the drilling kick. Finds McRae. Still in the defensive half here, the Dogs. Haven't really moved it forward, and a kick from McRae is a shocker. Couldn't get down there, Marshall. Now the Power can get through Dixon. Rosie looking for an option, gives it out to Drew. The Power working forward, Boak. But tries to get on his right boot. He goes in short towards the 50. Marshall, probably a little bit too far out to score. Had Boak on his left. Probably not a good option. Boak's not really an option in the left. So Marshall kicks it into the pocket to a 2-on-1. Not the best kick. Vandermeer's happy to see it out of bounds with a spoil. So 6.5 minutes to go on this third term. Port Adelaide, pretty dominant in this third. Lead it by 17 points at the moment. Dogs with the last one, though. Forward pocket here for Port Adelaide. Dixon and Lob. Lob gets the tap. Coming through was Smith, did nicely. Liberatore, bit of an awkward handball, but he gets the free kick. So Liberatore will get the free kick here for the Dogs in the back pocket. Wouldn't be surprised if Port Adelaide take off at all here. Liberatore, probably the weirdest set of tattoos you've ever seen on a guy before. Don't know what he does with his... He's got Selma with the Selma fucking... The freckly, sweaty guy from The Simpsons. I can't remember his name. Liam Jones drives it down the wing. It's not the best kick. McEntee and Vandermeer work hard. Went on there from Sin just to gather it. Gives it to McEntee. He's got to go. Good play there from Williams to cause him out of trouble. Now the Dogs can go. Dale, great cut off there from Farrell. Read that brilliantly. He works back onto his left boot, Farrell. Drives it inside the forward 50. Rosie goes up! And he takes it! Connor Rosie. Liberatore couldn't really do much there. And Connor Rosie, a chance here to send it out to 23 points and kick his second. The Dogs looked out. The handball from Bruce just wasn't enough to get to Vandermeer. Farrell read it like a book. And then Rosie inside the forward 50 takes a great mark over the top of Tom Liberatore. So still 5 minutes to go on this third term. Connor Rosie comes in to kick another one for the Power. He's left it out to the right-hand side. He kicks it through for a behind. That's 3 points in a row for Port. They've got to be careful here. We've seen teams this season lose games on their goal kicking. We even saw the Swans last night at stages have chances to win that game, but couldn't kick straight. So Dale will take the kick in here for the Dogs. Still 5 minutes to go on this third term. Port by 18. So Dale works it out wide. It's a shocking kick by Bailey Dale. Out on the full. So Palpepper, basically with a 50, meets the boundary line, he has the football, drives it towards the top of the goal square. Lysette can't mark it. Bruce fumbles and then gathers it. Gets taken down. He's dropped that. Play on. That is a shocking decision. He didn't handball it. He dropped it to the ground. Jones did well on Waitman, bodied him out of it. So Lockie Jones, 60 out from goal, has an option into the pocket. It's Horne-Francis in a 2-on-1. Well done there from Treloar, got his hands up. But then Oscar Baker happy to see it out of bounds. Still 4.5 minutes to go in this third term. Power lead it by 18 points. Porto actually dominated the past 5 minutes, but they just can't convert it on the scoreboard. They kicked 3 behinds in a row. Dixon in English. Dixon knocks it out, coming through as Rosie, gets it out to Ollie Wines. Ollie from 50, he kicks it to the top of the goal square. Bruce fists it away. Treloar couldn't gather it cleanly. Eventually gave it out to English. Now Duray, Dale has some time, goes long, but it's a poor kick again from Bailey Dale. Lockie Jones just fumbled it out of bounds. Probably should have marked that, Lockie Jones. He's been okay tonight, but he should have marked that one. He had it in his chest, bounced off his big, muscly chest. I don't know what I was thinking there. And then it just went over the boundary line. So about 55, 60 out from Port Adelaide's goal. Lysette knocks it forward. Boat coming through, couldn't gather it. Horne-Francis taken high. He'll get a free kick. And Liberatore's not happy about it. Liberatore not too impressed at the moment, but he gave away a high one there against Horne-Francis. So Horne-Francis about 60 out from goal. Kicks inside the forward 50 to a leading Dixon. Liam Jones gets the spoil. Treloar gets a hard tackle met from Butters. But Dale kicks it out of defensive 50. That's a better kick from Dale. So McRae takes the mark. Defensive side of the wing. Haven't really been beyond this point in the past 10 minutes, the Dogs. McRae has a little bit of troubles on the man on the mark, so he just kicks it in short to Scott. Scott gives off the handball to Dale. Dale works it out wide to Bailey Smith. The Dogs work it forward short and sweet here. Goes in short to Oscar Baker. First touch as he came on. The handball to the toes of Dale. McRae kicks into the pocket to a 2-on-1. Bontempelli should have marked that, but he got a free kick for his efforts for a chop of the arms. So for all of Port's dominance in the past 10 minutes, the Dogs can go down and kick their second in a row. It's a chop of the arm free kick. It was definitely there. Bontempelli been quiet in this third term. Hasn't been a lot of the midfield time for him that he usually expects, but he's in the he's in the forward pocket here. He's left footed, but he has to go right around the body. Kicks it like a true right footer. Bontempelli gets the crowd up, and the Dogs back to within 12 points. I think they need to send the Bont into the middle of the ground. I don't know what he's doing up forward. He's a much better player in the middle of the ground at the moment. He's much more influential in this game. Great goal, though. 12 points the difference. This game could be going right down to the wire. The Power have already had 5 games this year within 10 points. Have won all of them. Will this be another close one for the Power? It was a great kick from McRae going inside the forward 50. It was a free kick to Bontempelli, 100%. Elia chopped his arms. Bontempelli absolutely loved it off the right boot. Maybe he should do it more often. But Bulldogs back to within 12 points. Lysette knocks it down. Not the best tap. English gathers it, but the English handball was a bit fancy. Lysette to Rosie. He just thumps it forward. Dale can't gather it. Play onto the call. Horne-Francis has an option inside the forward 50. Jed McEntee takes the mark. He's kicked some clutch goals in this season, Jed McEntee. I remember one against the Swans earlier in the year. He's usually a pretty good set shot goal kicker. But Dale's just had a couple of moments in this third term. Fumbles and some poor kicking has given Port Adelaide some chances. But Jed McEntee in this team for the defensive pressure. He's kicked some goals as well, which is always great to see from a small forward. McEntee comes in. 40 metres out, slight angle. Kicks towards goal. Hugs that right goal post. Fades back enough. Port Adelaide back to a 3-goal lead. Great work from Jed McEntee. Kicks the goal. Currently leading the disposal getter on the ground is Tom Liberatore with the 27, Butters with the 23, Treloar and Bailey Smith with the 21, and then Bontempelli and Dale with the 20, rounding out the top 6 disposal getters on the ground. 4 goals at the moment, leading with the goal kickers is Charlie Dixon with the 4, Waitman with all of his 3 goals in the first quarter, McEntee and Marshall, the only other multiple goal kickers so far with the 2. Just a little bit weird there from English. He had the ball with a clean. He had the ball clean, but he decided to give a handball over the back, trying to be too fancy. And then Port just playing that blue-collar football, just get it forward, and that causes them the goal. Rosie gets out the handball to Horn Francis. Somehow got the hands free. Gives it to Boak, and he gets it back Horn Francis. Bursts through the stoppage. Port can go here. Ollie winds to Rosie off the side of the boot. Burn-Jones to Boak. Boak dances out of trouble to Rosie. Snaps around the body. In the goal square as Palpepper drops the mark. Play on. Wants to break the tackle of Baker. Sin snaps towards goal. Burn-Jones on the ground fumbles. Fumbles twice. That was a bit unfortunate for him. Then out the back was Caleb Daniel, and Bruce fumbles it again, through for a point. So Port Adelaide lead it by 19, only about a minute to go in this third term. The Dogs work it out wide. Jure has the football now. Just over a minute to go. Kicks it in short. It's dangerous, but McRae does nicely. Worked hard, took the mark. Still at half back here, the Dogs. Seems like a lot of disposals for not much meterage, the Dogs in this third term. Haven't done much with it. McRae kicks it long to a 1-on-2. Working back with the flight there was Scott. Couldn't mark it. It trickles out of bounds. .44 seconds to go. Lysette knocks it down. Boak taps it twice. Couldn't gather it. Rioli handballs it forward. Good cut off there from McRae. Gets the handball out the back. And then Williams is driven into the ground by Burn-Jones. Be another ball up. 30 seconds to go. Lysette knocks it through. Wines couldn't gather it. English. Poor handball. Cut off by Boak. Boak trying to gather it. Good pressure there from Treloar. Bailey Smith out to the back. Then almost taken high was Houston. Treloar worries him out of it. Someone's trying to get it out of there. It's Daniel. Good handball into space to Riley West. Dragged down from Rosie. That's holding the football. Great work from Rosie. Been brilliant this season. Great defensive pressure from the Power. That stopped the scoring opportunity for the Bulldogs late in this quarter. And at three-quarter time, the Power take a 19-point lead. Big game for both clubs. Port Adelaide to win a 10th in a row. The Bulldogs to keep in touch with the top 4. This is going to go right down to the final quarter. Alright, just bring up statistics now. Alright guys, so three-quarter time, the leading disposal getter on the ground is Tom Liberatore with the 27. Zach Butters leads all comers for Port Adelaide with the 23. Bailey Smith with the 22. And then Adam Treloar and Caleb Daniel with the 21 take out the top 5. And then for the AFL Fantasy watchers out there, we have Connor Rosie with the 95. Butters with the 91. Liberatore with the 87. McRae with the 86. And then rounding out the top 5 is Caleb Daniel with the 85. I need to go to the bathroom, so I'll be back in a minute. Don't worry, I'll be back for the final quarter, obviously. I'm by ready to go. Fourth quarter has begun. Knocks it down as English, but Butters coming through, can't gather it. Houston taken by 2 dogs, be a ball up. Port Adelaide, I don't think have used their sub as of yet still, is Riley Bonner in the ruck. Lysette knocks it down, coming through nicely was Bontempelli. Just handballed it blindly forward. Arthur Jones couldn't gather it. Daniel got worried out of it by Boat. Rosie gets the handball out the back. Sin can't gather it, fumbles it twice. Bontempelli worries him out of it. Good play there. Bontempelli was strong over the football. Out to Daniel, and now the Dogs work it out wide. Now Vandermeer drives it forward to Abdullah Ugle-Hagan. Couldn't bring it down. Norton just happy to get some meterage forward. Houston should get back first. Runs towards the boundary line. Waitman puts on some pressure, and then the Houston kick was very poor. And Ugle-Hagan takes the mark in the forward pocket. Poor kick from Dan Houston. Didn't get any sort of meterage on that football. Just kicked it straight back to Jamari Ugle-Hagan. And a chance here for the Dogs to get an early one early in the fourth quarter. They need to start off strongly here, the Dogs. Best possible start here would be Ugle-Hagan to come in from 40 metres out and drill it home. Great finish from Jamari Ugle-Hagan. Dogs get the first goal of the last quarter. Great start for the Dogs. Get themselves right back in this game. They had struggled though to kick multiple goals in a row in this game so far, so we'll have to see if the Dogs can do it in this last term. Bontempelli back in the middle of the ground. Well, like I said a little bit earlier, I'm surprised he was forward in that third term. He was very good in the first half, but Tom Liberatore was doing it all himself in that third quarter and just couldn't do it all himself, which I mean is understandable. So Jamara kicks the first goal of the fourth quarter. 13 points the difference. Back in the middle. Lysette knocks it down. Boak gets taken down by Liberatore. Somehow gets it out though. Butters happy just to handball it forward a good 20 metres. Dale says, get it out of my area. Just sockers it off the ground. Trickles towards the boundary line. Should get there first is Baker. Keeps it in play. Holds it in. And I think it's gone out of bounds, unfortunately, there for the Dogs. Baker 40 kept it in for a moment there, but I think it just went out. Oh, it was close. I think there when he reached to try and keep it in, it may have just gone out of bounds. Lysette knocks it down. Trelaw gets the handball at the back. Ricochets back to him. But now Boak off to Butters. Butters wants Rosie on the run. Dale, good tackle. Burn-Jones tries to get the ball out of the grasp of Baker, but it'll be a ball up. Forward side of the wing here for Port Adelaide. Rosie slow to get up, but he seems okay. Maybe a little bit of a winded a little bit. English taps it out to the sub in Baker. Baker drives it forward. Waitman, fresh area on that one. Norton taps it forward to Ugle-Hagan on the right boot, which is a bit surprising. Works it forward. Lob lets it out the back. Lockie Jones just birds off Lob and kicks it down the wing to a one-on-one. It's Drew Liberatore. Drew almost marked it in the end. And he gets a free kick, Drew, for his trouble. Looks like Drew may have gone Liberatore at the moment. Definitely was a massive player in that third quarter. Been a massive player in this game, Liver. Drew drives it towards the forward 50. Great mark from Dixon. Just got in front of Liam Jones somehow. Port Adelaide have been good in the air tonight. 12 contested marks. Now Dixon drives it inside the forward 50. Lysette and Finlayson, but out the back. Somehow Rioli takes the mark. Rioli's been very quiet tonight. Gives off the handball to Jeremy Finlayson. In the pocket. Like a work of art. The Mona Lisa isn't as beautiful as that. Great finish from Jeremy Finlayson. Port Adelaide get one early in the fourth quarter. He's kicked 2 snaps tonight, Jeremy Finlayson. Great finish from the pocket. 19-point lead to the Power. Lockie Jones been brilliant since he went on to Corey Waitman. Cody Waitman. Fucking hell, I get that wrong every time. It's Cody, isn't it? Yeah, it's Cody Waitman. Fucking hell, I'm an idiot. Whatever. Don't even listen to me. I'm a moron. Great work from Dixon just to break in front of Liam Jones. And then kicked it inside the forward 50. Got out the back to Rioli. Both Finlayson and Lysette caused the contest, which was great to see. Rioli did a great mark. And then Finlayson just says, hey mate, just give it here, mate. I'll finish it for you. And then Finlayson, great finish. Umpire calls it back. Be another ball up inside the middle of the ground. And Finlayson silences the crowd. We've seen Grundy do that before. And that didn't work out very well for him a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully, for Port fans, hopefully it doesn't work out for that. Boat tries to get the clearance forward, hits the back of English. Now Bontempelli gets the ball. English gets it smothered by McEntee. Boak gets the handball out to McEntee in the end. The McEntee handball out the back to Lysette. Oh, great little spin move from the big man. He handballs it forward. Boak almost threw that away. Good work there from, I think, oh my God, who was it? It was Riley West. Now the Dogs. Oh, great tackle! Zach Butters. He loved it. He gave a little bit to go on with there to Vandermeer. Zach Butters with a great defensive pressure. Chance here. Long way out. Gives it off to Dan Houston. Chance here for the power. Dan Houston winds up. It's not going to make the distance. Goes to the goal square. And Liam Jones happy to just thump it through for a behind. .20 lead to the power. Dale goes in short to find English. English gives it back to Dale. The Dogs want a bit of run in this play. He runs a good 15 metres and drives it long to a one-on-one. Norton and Nalia. Norton gets the front spot, just can't glove it. Keeps it in front of him, doesn't want to lead to grab it. Eventually soccers it forward. Bergman and McRae. Bergman, great tackle from Jack McRae. Options, so he decides to rake it long inside the forward 50. He's got English against Butters, and that's a mismatch you want to kick it to. Tim English takes the mark. Not good enough from Lysette. He's been brilliant tonight, but he didn't work back. And a kick on top of Zach Butters' head with Tim English behind him. Easy as you like. Don't know where Lysette was, to be honest. It wasn't a good read. But a chance here for the Dogs to get them back to within 14 points. They've been a bit on and off with set shots tonight. Tim English, usually a pretty good kick at goal. He comes in about 30 metres out, slide angle. Tim English comes in. Straight through the middle. We have a ball game. Dogs back to within 14 points. Big game for both clubs. Port Adelaide, they win this, they go back to equal top with the Pies. Dogs win this, they get to equal fourth with the Lions and the Saints, just off percentage. But if the Dogs lose this one, they're right in the pack with the Cats, the Crows, the Dockers, and the Suns, all who have pretty winnable games this week. So Sins has been subbed out for Port Adelaide. That means the Bonders came on the ground. Meanwhile, in the middle of the ground, Bontempelli to English. Daniel just thumps it forward. West gets off to Smith. He just handballs it into space. Still fighting hard here is Bailey Smith. Gives it off to Daniel. Little handball over to McRae. McRae with a handball over the shoulder. One-on-one was West. He couldn't gather it. Now, Ugle-Hagen works back for it. Dale breaks past one. Gives it to Ugle-Hagen. Makes it his problem. Great little kick from Jamara. Finds McRae inside the forward 50. It's really back to that frenetic pace we saw early in this game. Probably for the first quarter and a half. The Dogs, I think, like it like that at the moment. Port Adelaide, I think, we're a little bit more structured at the moment. But great work from the Dogs. They just kept on trying to get it forward, trying to find that free man. And the Dogs, with their great ball use, just found Jamara, who's a great little left foot kick, finds Jack McRae. So McRae comes in, not much of an angle to speak of, runs out to the left-hand side, brings it back. Back to within 8 points. The Dogs get another. First time in a long time, they've kicked multiple goals in a row. Big time goal from Jack McRae. Back to 8 points the difference. Been big tonight, Jack McRae. Playing a little bit off half forward the last month or so. Been letting Caleb Daniel get inside the midfield along with Bailey Smith. He's already had 22 tonight, taking the 9 marks, had 4 tackles, 108 fantasy points for anyone wondering. Jack McRae gets the Dogs to back within 8 points. Heaps of time in this one. Still just under 14 minutes of playtime left. I think Willem Drew needs to take that job back on. He went to Bontempelli in the first half. They sent him forward. He went to Liberatore early in this fourth quarter. But Bontempelli's cutting them apart at the moment. Back in the ruck. The umpire should have called it back. Lysette thumped it forward, but Liberatore gets it out to Daniel. And now Scott breaks past Lysette, who looks done at the moment. He kicks it long to a one-on-one. Good body there from McRae, but Jones, he has a lot of run in his legs. He gets some space and kicks it long down the wing to a 2-on-2. Leading up was Keith. He couldn't gather it. Good work from Marshall. Boak taps it, gives it off to Marshall, and then he taps it forward. McEntee got a bad bounce, so it could be against Liberatore. Daniel, great little step move. I think he went out. No, he didn't, but Duray's happy to see it out. Todd in the kitchen at the moment. Both teams don't want to make mistakes, but the Dogs look like they're really going hard for this one. Port need to tighten up a little bit at the moment. Bontempelli getting a lot of space. He's currently at the back of the stoppage all on his own. Lysette knocks it down. Farrell left it at the back. Smith just tries to get some meterage. Bergman gets the handball out. Great pressure from the Dogs. Great tackle from Bontempelli on Williams. Be another ball up. Dogs turn it up a notch. Lob, Tambles it, knocks it down. Daniel and Boak fighting hard. Umpire will call for it once again. Knocks it down. Bailey Smith sockers it forward a good 20 metres. It saves out. It goes out. Could be in trouble here. Umpire says, ball it in. Lysette looks a little bit tired at the moment, but he's battled hard tonight. The only misstep he's made so far is when he let English get all on his own inside the forward 50. But Lob's in there with him now. Lysette knocks it down. Farrell just sockers it off the ground. It's a bit dangerous. Cut off well by Williams. He gives it off to Dale, and he drives it inside the forward 50 to a leading Jamara Ugle-Hagan. That gets at the back. Aaliyah steps Norton with absolute ease. He drives it towards the wing. It's not the best kick. That was a missed kick, umpire. Don't you dare pay it. You idiot. He miskicked it. That's a shocking decision from the umpire. Liberatore drives it inside the forward 50. Couldn't take the mark, but a free kick has been picked out and Port Adelaide to get a reprieve. But Jamara Ugle-Hagan gives away the free kick. Drew will take it half back. Both teams know how big this game is. Drew drives it down the wing. Up goes Marshall, but Liam Jones from the back takes the mark. Great mark from Liam Jones. Still heaps of time in this one. He kicks it in short, finds McRae. McRae works a little bit wider to Baker. He wants to play on. He drives it into the pocket. Ugle-Hagan has some space. Can't take the mark. McKenzie fumbles it a little. Leah grabs it. Just makes it someone else's problem. Kicks it 40 metres out of the defensive 50. Good mark from Keith to cut it off. Keith, not always the not the best ball user. Drives it inside the forward 50. Norton 1-2. Dropped it. Jones has some space. Good pressure from Bontempelli. Knocks it out of bounds. Should have really marked that Aaron Norton. He had that mark in his grasp. He just couldn't bring it with him. Dogs are dominating the past few moments of this one, especially the last 10 minutes. Probably the biggest dominance they've had in this whole game. So Lysette knocks it down. Coming through was Bono, couldn't grab it. Bergman just kicks it out of the defensive 50. Keith taps it towards the boundary line. He's just happy to see it out of bounds. Still 11 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Ken Hinkley looking pretty calm at the moment. He knows his team's had 5 wins in close ones this year. Back in the ruck. Lob knocks it down. Liberatore gathers it. Pretty much for the most amount of space he's had all quarter. Baker snaps it inside the forward 50. Gets the bounce out the back. Ugle-Hagan grabs it on the second attempt. Tries to step Jones. Just got the handball. No, he's been pinned for a throw. Good decision from the umpire. Ugle-Hagan pinned and he's grabbing his finger. He may have I think it's just a stinger. Don't think it's a dislocation. But great work from Lockie Jones. A lot of growth tonight from him. He's played a lot on Waitman since the first quarter. And great little defensive pressure work there. Lob cuts it off. Marshall trying to claim the mark. Don't know about that. Lysette gets the handball out the back to Butters. But great work from Baker. Daniel couldn't gather it though. So Butters spins out of trouble. Handball forward wasn't that great. Rosie fights for it. Butters dives in against 3 Dogs. Like the ragged dog he is. Zach Butters couldn't get it out. Liberatore dives in. It'll be a ball up. Descent! That was crap. He asked the umpire. The umpire asked him to pick up Liberatore, and the umpire and Butters said no. That is not descent. Oh my god. Fuck the umpires, dude. This is fucking ridiculous. Bontempelli tries to drive it inside the forward 50. Good smother there from Drew. Now McKenzie off to Zach Butters. Breaks past the tackle of Libber. And Zach Butters slicing through the middle of the ground. He wants to give it to Drew. Eventually gives off the handball. Drew drives it inside the forward 50. Rioli in a one-on-one. Blocked there from Dre a little bit. Play onto the call. Liam Jones just thumps it away to make it someone else's problem. Great pickup from Horne-Francis. This would be amazing. Jason Horne-Francis, you star. What a finish. What a moment for Jason Horne-Francis. What a goal. How did he break out of that? Great pickup off the left hand. Spun. Just turned on his right boot with relative ease. And the Power get back that 14-point buffer. Scott couldn't go with him. Caleb Daniel couldn't go with him. Jure couldn't go with him. And Jason Horne-Francis just has a knack of lifting in the final quarter for the Power. Great work. He's going to be a star, Jason Horne-Francis. 14-point lead to the Power. So Ken Ingley just talking to his troops on the bench at the moment. Zach Butters, Todd Marshall, Jeremy Finlayson on the bench at the moment. Just getting a quick rest probably for those last 8 or 9 minutes of this one. Definitely their last rest before the end of this game. Back in the middle. Lysette knocks it out to Bo. Couldn't grab it. Liberatore couldn't gather it either. Well done from Drew. Got the hands free. Now Bogue out to Rosie, who lost his feet. Gets the handball eventually out to Wines. Has some space. Arthur Jones chasing him down. Got the kick away inside the forward 50. Up goes Horne-Francis. Bruce did well. Gathers it eventually. Good tackle from Burn Jones. Drags him to ground. It'll be a ball up inside the forward 50 for Port. He's looking dangerous at the moment, Horne-Francis. Dixon knocks it forward, only to Daniel, who just kicks it away straight into Keith. Ricochets to Liberatore, and he kicks it away. Great mark from Houston going back with the flight. Hasn't had the big numbers today, Dan Houston, but he's been good. So Houston just kicks it inside the forward 50 to his tall man. Keith in front. Horne-Francis out the back, couldn't bring it down. Coming through as Trelaw, running back with the traffic. Out to Vandermeer in the defensive goal square. He kicks it long. It's a dangerous kick. Gives Cody Waitman the responsibility. He doesn't get down. That was a bit lazy. Now Farrell was around on the left boot into the forward pocket. Rioli's there, and he takes it. Great kick from Kane Farrell. Always a good ball user on his left boot. And a chance here for Junior Rioli to kick his first goal. He had a chance earlier in this quarter, but he gave it away to Finlayson. He's not giving this one away. So Rioli, big chance here. Give Port Adelaide a 20-point lead. He comes around, snaps towards goal. He's hooked it too much, through for a point. So now Bruce at halfback. Kicks it down the wing. Another shocking kick from Josh Bruce. Oh, come on. I mean, that's it. Aaliyah gives it a right smile looking for a deliberate. For a skill error. Didn't get it, though. I think he just whispered to Rory Lobb, said, I did that exact thing, didn't get a free kick. Why me? But it's still just on the attacking side of the wing of the Dogs. Umpire lobs it in. Lysette taps it out the back. Houston, handball over the top. A little bit fancy, but it works. Bogue to Rosie. Now Ollie Wines, streaming through the middle of the ground. He's got his ex-captain on the wing. He's got Bogue. Bogue just sends it up the chimney. Gives an option up to Rioli. Couldn't even get up there. I don't know about that. Palpepper out the back to Burn Jones. And they're going to be tough to beat now, the Power. Oh, no, it's a free kick to the Dogs. Alex Keith gets the free kick in the back pocket. A little bit lucky there. They got out the back there, the Power. Still 15 points the difference. Still heaps of time in it. There's just under 8 minutes to go. Alex Keith plays on. He goes long down the wing. Waitman plays for the free, didn't get it. Bogue tries to spin out of trouble. Great pressure from Arthur Jones. Got the handball away. Waitman back to Trelaw. The Dog working through the middle. Out the back with Scott will get a free kick. Smith plays on. Don't know about that continuous play, but nonetheless, Treloar had Smith on his right. Eventually goes for the other shotgun in Scott. Scott drives it inside the forward 52 on 2 is Jamari Ugle-Hagan. Can't drag it down. Houston and Drew fighting for it. Oh, that was a bit of a sling. And umpire gives him a reprieve. Be a ball up. Almost had it there, Jamara. Williams went up, couldn't get the fist on it, neither could Mackenzie. Now Bontempelli from 50, drives it towards goal. Will it get there? The bounce is important. It dribbles across the face, and it rolls out of bounds. No one on the line there for the Power. No one playing as like the goalkeeper role, so got a bit lucky there. If Bontempelli had that anywhere near the goal face, that was through. So just under 7 minutes now to go. 15-point lead to the Power. Back in the ruck. Lysette, he's thumped that forward. I think both ruckmen did it. Be another ball in. Arthur Jones hardly seen it tonight. I don't even think he's had a touch, but he's had 6 tackles, so he's definitely bringing the defensive pressure. One of the big reasons he's in the side. English takes it out of the ruck, then gets dragged down by Lysette. Jones gets the handball out to no one in particular. Treloar, just spun out of trouble from McEntee. Vandermeer from 50, drives it towards goal. And it's gone through for a behind. So Mackenzie goes in short to Dan Houston, who drives it down the wing to a one-on-one. Jones, great work there from Dixon. Now Butters dragged to ground. He may get a free kick here. No, gathers it. Brings it back in. Liberatore dragged in there by Dixon. English gives a handball out the back. Pepper coming through. Had to be clean. Probably wasn't. Now tackled by 2 dogs. Will be another ball up. Zach Butters always... I don't think he realises how small he is because he always chucks himself in. Houston out the back to Bonner. Dragged down. That's holding the footy. Free kick to the Dogs. Will be Bontempelli who gets the free kick here on the wing of the Dogs. Oh no, it's Bailey Williams who gets the free kick. Should have been Bailey. Oh no, it is. Oh yeah, should have been Bontempelli. So Bailey Williams on the wing here for the Dogs. He plays on. Drives it inside the forward 50. Up goes Lob Jones from 4 deep. Fists it towards the boundary line. Treloar will get there first. Great hands. Give it out to Bailey Smith. He drives it back inside the forward 50. Up goes English. Couldn't gather it was Mackenzie. Now Waitman for his 4th. Absolutely miscued. It's in. It's a free kick on the goal line. Waitman doesn't know, but it's a push in the back to Ollie Wines on the goal line. It was definitely there. I think it was Oscar Baker who pushed Ollie Wines on the line. But I don't think it would have mattered. I don't know why he did it. Dixon can't mark it. Boak gets out the handball out to Bonner. Should be having a little more run in the legs. He's the fresh man. Gives it off to Rosie. He burns off Bailey Dale. Drives it inside the forward 50. Horn Francis. Oh, he had the mark. He just dropped it at the crucial stage. Great tackle from Butters on Keith. And it'll be a free kick for a high. It would have been home anyway. It probably should have been tackled, but nonetheless. It's a ball up inside the forward 50. Butters over to Sam Powell. Pepper! They're going to be hard to beat the Power. Snaps at goal. And the Dogs may well have just been beaten here. Down one end. A free kick was paid inside the goal square against the Dogs. And now the Power take a 20-point lead. Is that going to be enough? Pal Pepper been pretty quiet tonight, but he somehow gets there and gets to the goal. I mean, Waitman probably should have kicked that anyway. It shouldn't have even been an option. It shouldn't have even been an option to miss that goal. Kenny loved it. He's celebrating on the boundary line. Still just under 5 minutes to go. There's 4 goals the Dogs need to kick. There's time for the Dogs, but they have to be use a little bit more quality inside the forward 50. English down to Liberatore, just dropped it. Bontempelli kicks it forward, comes off the leg of Bailey Smith. McRae coming through, gets it chopped off by Ollie Wines. Wines finds an option on the wing, good kick, finds Dan Houston. 4.5 minutes to go. Dogs need a quick one very soon or this game's done. Port Adelaide happy to take some time off the clock. He goes in short to Boak. So Boak kicks it long towards half forward. It's a one-on-one Dixon and Jones. Good work there from Liam Jones out the back. Treloar handballed in midair. Wasn't a very good option because Bailey Williams was immediately met by Butters. He gets dragged down by Treloar. It'll be a ball up. 4 minutes to go. Butters probably been best on ground tonight. He's been brilliant once again. Out the back was English. Gave it off to Williams. Williams gets the kick away. It was smothered. Be a ball in. Umpire lobs it in once again. Finlayson's in the rucky with English. No ruckman gets it. Gets out the back. Boat jumps up. Gets the ball. Gets out the handball. Little dinky one to Houston. Houston wheels around on the right boot. Thumps it long. Inside the forward 50. Gets touched. Marshall just needs a boot towards it. And Foul Pepper runs through. Port Adelaide, I think, are home. But the umpire's going to call for a review. Umpire's called touched on the line. Oh no, umpire's called a goal. Has it been touched on the line? Palpepper came through. This will be close. That's not the view we need. We need the other one. He's definitely kicked it. We know that. It hasn't hit the goalpost. So it's Duray and Palpepper's foot. It's Palpepper's foot and Duray's hand. We need the other view. AFL or ARC personnel, whoever the fuck you are. I think they've paid the goal. They haven't taken too much time to look at it. And Port Adelaide win a massive game in Marvel Stadium tonight. Great moment. Palpepper's kicked the last two. And Port Adelaide take a big step forward towards September. I know it's early, but being second at this point in the season is huge. And I think at the moment they're the biggest contender to Collingwood. Ken Hinkley turned this club around from last year's disappointing season. Brought in the likes of Horn Francis. Great moment. They love him, Ken. Port Adelaide love him. 3.5 minutes to go. They brought in also Junior Rioli. He probably hasn't met the heights that they wished, but he's still been good. Kicked the point tonight. Had good with defensive pressure. English knocks it down. Bontempelli handballs it out the back. Liberatore gets it out to Dale. Spins out of trouble. Did well. Kicks it in short. Finds Treloar in the middle of the ground. He gets off the handball immediately. Now the Dogs working forward through Vandermeer. He thumps it to a one-on-one. Norton and Alia. Norton 1, 2, 3. Grabbed it. Norton takes the mark. He's got to go quick, Aaron Norton. They're 5 goals down at the moment. It's 26 points the difference. If he kicks this, it's back to 20. There's still a bit of time. He's taking a long time here, Aaron Norton. I don't know what he's doing. There's still a bit of time in this game. Norton comes in, 25 metres out, straight in front, kicks the goal. Back to 20 points the difference. I don't know why he took so long. $20 points the difference. Still just under 3 minutes to go. So Port Adelaide currently equal top of the ladder. 3 games clear of the Melbourne Demons, who are third at the moment. The Dogs, though, right back in the pack. They've got the Cats, the Crows, the Dockers, the Suns, and the Swans to an extent, still fighting for that spot. If Richmond can win this week or Carlton, they can get right back in the chase with the Dogs losing today. This is their 3rd loss in a row if this game continues the way it's going. Lysette knocks it down to Horn Francis. Great little clearance here. He kicks it out wide to a one-on-one. Marshall and Scott. Good mark from Marshall. So Marshall, I think he should just take the 30 here. So Marshall plays on, drives it long into the into the top of the goal square. English thumps it forward. Wines comes through. Butters gets tackled well from McRae. It'll be another ball up. 2 minutes, 13 seconds to go. Port Adelaide inside their forward 50. They should have it home from here. Couple more repeat stoppages and they'll have it. Lysette knocks it through. Boak. It's been pretty good tonight. Gets tackled well from Bontempelli. Another ball up. Another ruck. English knocks it through. Boak gets out the handball, but now Williams streams through to English to Daniel. Tries to step McEntee. Did nicely. Now Williams over the top to McRae. The Dogs can go here. He takes a bounce on the wing. He's got Rosie chasing, but he gets it away. Could be a free kick downfield. Williams did nicely against Waitman. Gives it to Burn-Jones, and now Williams has some space, has some time, kicks into the middle of the ground, finds McEntee. McEntee plays on. He works it out wide. I think it's Butters. Takes the mark. He's been to the 3 votes tonight. He's been a massive player. Kicks it out wide and finds Jeremy Finlayson on the lead. Jeremy Finlayson to take the full 30. Wind this game down and give Port Adelaide another win. The next 4 games, Port Adelaide is the Geelong, then they've got the bye, then they've got Essendon, the Gold Coast and Carlton. I give them pretty much all 4 of those wins if they're playing like this. Finlayson comes in from 40, 55 metres out. Dixon on the line, couldn't mark it, rolls through for a behind. How am I? I'm doing pretty good. What was your name again? John? Oh, I can't even remember. Sorry, man. Oh, that's another point. It's John. I think I was right. So now Dogs working forward. Scott couldn't mark. Treloar gives it over the top to Keith. There's still 30 seconds to go. The Dogs could get a late consolation prize. He drives it inside the forward 50. Marshall just spoils it away. Coming through was Ollie Wines. Good tackle there from Liberatore. Still working hard was Ollie. Spills back out to Liberatore. Treloar tries to break through. Breaks past one tackle. Wheels around on the right. Then comes back to Keith. Keith drives it inside the forward 50. But it's all Port Adelaide. Dylan Williams takes the mark. He goes in short to Bergman. Port Adelaide will celebrate tonight. Another win on the trot. Taking eagle top spot on the ladder. The Power are a real contender in 2023. Led by one of the Brownlow favourites in Zach Butters. A massive win for Port Adelaide in the end. They were met with tonight with the Dogs. But the final scores in this one, 13-7, 85 to the Dogs. Get beaten by Port Adelaide by 22 points. 16-11, 107. Great win from Port Adelaide in this one, guys. Thanks for watching the stream today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll probably be back on Sunday with one of the games, either Carlton, Essendon, or whatever the other game is. And I'll definitely be on Monday with the King's birthday game. But thanks for watching today, guys. That's all from me, so I'll catch you all.